Hello everybody and welcome to Chaotic Neutral Games for our D&D 5th edition campaign, The Benefactor. I'm here with Felicia playing Glory, Rodrigo playing Aiden, Corinne playing Eclipse, Nick playing Farewell, and Kate playing Cora. Ordinarily I'd have a bit more preamble before starting with this, but we've had a bit of technical issues, so we're just going to go straight into the game. Welcome everybody in chat, and hello the players.
Hello.
So, when we last met, you guys had finished up with the little assassination attempt that Glory had. Just a little bump in the road of Glory's life. You know, something that made it interesting and killed a nearby person. And then you set back on the road again. The reason why we've got these soldiers in the middle of the screen is that you're at an Imperial Army camp, and this camp in particular is for decamping. So they are setting out people who are leaving the force, going back to the city, and they are taking the Duke's shilling, they're taking their pay, and finally going back to their families, either because they finished one tour of service and they may come back later, or because whatever drafting technique that forced them to serve in the first place. Ooh. Who was that?
That was our wonderful Rose.
Corinne, but she has come back in, so we'll see what goes on there.
Not me this time.
Oh, I'm back.
You are back. So
I'm back.
The camp.
No?
You are back. You can't hear us though, can you? I don't know what's going on with her her Discord at the moment. We're on the same internet.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Hey Rodrigo, it's not you, don't worry about
It's
it.
not Rodrigo.
Yeah.
No.
I'm so pleased.
So I'll carry on for now whilst Corinne sorts out her internet. Oh, looks like she's
I
back.
have my camera on,
And she's back.
Whether or not she can hear us.
but I can't hear anything.
Of course.
Right.
Right on fucking cue.
Okay.
Well, if it
You
helps.
guys you need to just sit in the same room with a webcam on both of you. You guys are in the same house.
That would drive me insane.
By the way, for those of you that are listening, he's only saying that because she can't hear him. He's usually not this brave.
No, if I had everybody around a table, I'd be able to DM quite happily. But if I had one person who had direct access to me, and the remaining remaining four who didn't have direct access to me, that would be insane to try and get that to work. So we'll just keep riding the chaos while she sorts out her Discord. If all else fails,
I can hear you now.
yay! Fantastic. I'll
My
rearrange it all
Discord
now.
just keeps crashing. I don't even know what's up with it.
Right, so, for those who are watching, if you were here last week, you will have noticed that they are at an Imperial camp where a lot of people are now leaving for home. So people have done their tour of service. Most of them are allowed to go home, largely because they're scarred up to hell. There's magical healing during battles, but it's normally quite rationed out towards the end. And so there are people with scars, limbs missing, things like that, from all the ravages of war. You guys went up to the camp. A lieutenant who spotted the finery of your coach, and also Stuart, your coach driver, was able to put a bit of coach driver patter in to make out that his occupants, the occupants of his coach, were very important people. You got brought in on somewhat of a social head start. Glory started doing her usual nobility shiz, and was riding that all the way through, whilst the rest of you went and found out things in other ways. So whilst Glory was talking to the quite pompous camp commander, you had Cora, who went and played a bit of a blinder, actually. Showed what Phalox can really do by turning into a completely different halfling and asked after her uncle Merrick Briarstone. Merrick Briarstone being the necromancer that they are chasing down to the village of Vaughnford. Now, we're going to use the term necromancer, but he is just an arcanist, he's a wizard. They were chasing after him because he was fleeing the city at a time when a strange magical effect was going on. Effectively, a strange parasitic ooze was appearing in the sewers, and it was starting to replace creatures there, so infecting the bodies, consuming them, and replacing their flesh until they were just these kind of ooze simulants of giant rats and fish and a kutoa as well. They started chasing him down, and they were told by Renata Green once they spoke to her about their missing memories, because they have lost all their memories from level 4 to level 7. They are now level 7. And one of the things that she revealed to them is that when she was scrying after Merrick, he had an object in his possession that had a necromantic signature. Yeah, so the school of magic that you would normally get with detect magic. In this case, it was necromancy. Quite a strong signature as well. She wanted to know what he was running for and why he had this thing. Now, some scrying since revealed his dead body, scarred with acid, Glory's weapon of choice, and buried. So they're now going to Vaughnford to find out why they killed him, effectively, and to piece together whatever memories they don't have of visiting that town. So Cora, in this military camp, managed to go and play half a round of poker with it's 3 Dragon Ante, half a round of 3 Dragon Ante.
I don't think I even got to playing that.
They gave you your money back in the end because you actually left before the hand finished. And you were asking about Merrick Briarstone and Vaughnford. You found out the rest of the way to Vaughnford is completely clear. So once you're done in this camp, it should be a clear ride straight to the your objective. But you found a few things in this camp that are quite interesting. So first of all, they had taken all... this is a farmer's field that the camp is in. They've taken all of his crops, and they paid him a paltry sum. Thankfully, Eclipse of the Moon, using some of her arcane trickery, stole a purse of 200 gold and gave that to the farmer. So he's effectively been paid a more fair price for his wares. Aiden and
She's
Farewell
a furry
have been taking...
Robin Hood.
She's a furry Robin Hood, indeed.
I think it was closer to, you said it was definitely more than 200, but it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. He had some good money. I threw a number at you. It was good money for a farmer. The two people who haven't really acted all that much, so I will give them some priority at the beginning now, is Aiden and Farewell. I believe Aiden was following around Glory?
No. No.
No?
No, that was Farewell.
Oh, Farewell.
I met the Duke guy as well, and he was incredibly insufferable.
Yes.
And as such, a very angry Farewell.
Oh yes, I remember now.
Stomped off, reminding him that death makes all equal. And I apologise to everybody. I had to run off because certain somebody needed some attention.
Ah, right.
That's fair.
Always time for cats.
The only problem is now that Karin won't be able to roleplay at all.
Yeah, we're going to have to mute her in a minute because the R-wing will get to a certain level. So...
But yeah, I think I stayed with the carriage and I was just drinking myself to oblivion.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay, noted. And so yeah, you... in that case, you're doing that, and so unless there's something that's particularly overt, we'll say that it's hard for you to kind of step into conversations and things, but if anything kicks off, you'll be able to spot it at a distance and kind of come in.
Right.
As we left off last session, Glory wanted to know what this strange brooch was that was on the uniform of each of the infantrymen. And as they're disbanding and walking off in their civvies back to Ostergold and to the neighbouring villages, wherever they will decamp to and go and find their families, they're handing over a strange brooch with a lilac crystal on the inside. The brooch itself is shield-shaped and doesn't bear any kind of regimental markings or anything along those lines. And there is, as I say, a kind of lilac crystal. But Glory, you've seen cheap jewelry versus expensive jewelry. To get them all that shape, you're almost certain that it's just cast glass. So this is just some sort of tinted glass to make this brooch. But they all seem to be wearing it, and they're having to hand it in. They're putting it into small kind of powder keg, so small beer kegs that you can get at the off-license kind of powder keg style containers, and each container is guarded.
Can the detect magic spell, can I like notice things from a distance with it?
I believe 60 foot.
Double check.
Oh,
and thank you for the sheer rattles.
Yay.
Hey, rattles. Detect magic range. Well, that one's useless because that doesn't tell me the range.
I think it's just how far you can see. If it just say look at the thing and see if it's magical.
So you can detect
Definitely a
stuff even in
range.
walls. So hang on a sec, I've got quite a nice little app here that will just let me
Spell.
type in DET. And
Yeah.
so anything within 30 feet of you. And it can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. So if you walk over a shallowly buried magical item, you will ping even through 3 foot of dirt. Okay.
Yeah, it's 30 feet.
Yeah, it's 30 foot. So if you want
Okay,
to do that,
nice.
that's no problem. And I'll remind you, it is a ritual. So
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh no, for you it's not. You just put your hand over your eye.
Yeah,
Yeah, she got some magical jewelry, yo.
Yeah.
indeed.
Sure. Yeah, let's.
Before I send the Eclipse off to snag one, I want to know if it's actually magical. And not just a pretty thing.
Wow. Yeah, let's do this. So, Glory, you. I need to load up that picture with your hand over your eye for when you do this.
Yeah.
So.
Indeed, you need.
So you raise your beautifully jeweled. It's not even a gauntlet. In a
Hand jewelry thing.
It's a hand jewelry thing, but I've been told that apparently the name for it is a slave bracelet, but I hate that term, so I'm not going to use
That's
it.
Indeed.
fair.
But there is a term that they use in high rollers because Lucius has a similar arrangement, but yours has got this giant opal on the back. So whatever it is, I'll find the word. You put it
Pretty
over your
satisfying.
eye, and through that eye, you start to detect magic within 30 foot of you. You walk close enough to these kegs, and you notice a few things. So first of all, the clerks that are taking the brooches off them, they have a form of enchantment magic that is on them already. So you have they have a little rod that's on their belt in a holster that has transmutation magic on there. And you know that as a steel. That's STELE, and it's used a lot in enchantment. It is kind of a wand that's very specific to enchantment, and it allows you to focus energy into the item. You know this because you are now proficient in enchanting tools.
Yes.
The other things you notice, so the brooches, yes, they're putting them in these kegs, and you realise the kegs themselves obscure any form of magical signal, but because some of them are quite full and you can see into them, you do get a direct line to these brooches. And these brooches have a mixture of abjuration magic and necromancy. Those are the two
Ooh.
schools of magic that you see. In addition to this, there is a wand on each of the clerks as well. It is a wand of magic missiles, and it seems to be a masterworked wand of magic missiles, such that it has more charges than the average wand.
Ooh.
Then
Ooh.
each of the officers, and they are officers, they are career soldiers, none of these infantrymen who are handing in their stuff, these are proper career soldiers who are guarding the kegs. Each one of them is wearing +1 armor, +1 sword, and has like a throat guard. You see them on some soldiers, they have like a throat guard here. It's like a small crescent of metal, and that has the message cantrip enchanted into it, so they can just touch it and they can fire commands across a battlefield.
Do you still want me to steal it?
Please don't. Please don't. I can only resurrect
I
one
will
of you.
relay to Eclipse all the different shinies that we have in the vicinity.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Kill them all.
So,
Glory,
Going
give me an
on to the
Arcana check just
barrels.
to give you the last part of the picture.
ooh, yes, Arcana checks. I like Arcana checks.
I'm thinking if it might be easier just to get a brooch of a random soldier rather than going to the
That
barrels.
was my idea. Going after barrels is a bad idea, but just picking one of a random soldier who will just think they lost it.
Yeah, sleeping or something.
A 16 in Arcana.
16. You can't think of any application of abjuration and necromancy in conjunction with each other.
That's a problem.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Yes. Should we ask Farewell? He might have an idea. I mean, he's a bit more knowledgeable about necromantic energies.
You can
considering
certainly
line of
ask.
work.
You can certainly ask.
I mean, that's a good idea, though. I'm not sure with taking any of them from those guys over there, because they
Nah.
seem to be very heavily guarded, and even though I'm
Yeah.
confident in my abilities, I'd rather not risk it.
That is fair. Well, I suppose it's always worth looking into later.
Well,
If
we'll ask Farewell if he has any idea of it. And can I also do with the information that Eclipse is Gloria's given me? Can I also do an Arcana check? Because I do magic.
I do magic.
Because I do magic.
I do
magic.
that.
Oh, he does magic. I does magic. I'm a good practitioner.
You're pretty good at magic, I am. I find it rather nice when I'm having this cider if I
Yeah.
use a bit of magic alongside it.
Yeah, I cuts down my crops with fireball. I do. So the
Yeah.
yes, if Glory asks you, the DC is higher for you for reasons, but yes, you may certainly try.
Oof.
You said I can try?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it. Go on.
15.
Yeah, no. If I didn't get it, then you're not.
You get a little bit less, but you can certainly agree with Glory. You can't think of a single thing that would take both abjuration and necromancy in a single effect.
I go up to the
Let's-
carriage where Farewell is, and I lean in like, Farewell.
He's
Farewell.
not there. He's
Oh.
gone looking. He has gone looking for that mass grave that Knob mentioned. He's gone
But you
stomping
weren't
off.
there when he mentioned the mass grave. You've already walked off by then.
No, but it's a battlefield. He's pretty sure that there's going to be one around.
Oh, that's true.
This isn't a battlefield. This is a farmer's
No.
field.
Oh, right. Okay.
They
In
walked
that,
away
Just
from the
put it
battle
back
and
now.
made camp here.
in that case, he's just stopped off then. So God knows where he's gone.
Shall we try? Shall we try to find them?
Maybe.
I'm going to say,
Oi,
for
Ida.
expediency's sake, Farewell looks so different to all the soldiers, it's not going to take
You
long.
won't be
For one thing, there are very few blue soldiers here. I mean, you kind of go
Yes.
Triton
Green.
and Farewell.
You
Yes.
green.
Yeah.
He's my beautiful green boy.
Oh, sorry, green. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We find Farmer really quickly.
It's
so-
turquoise.
Yeah,
Turquoise.
there's not too many 6'3", heavily armored green people hanging
Yes.
around.
Yes.
No.
I also mentioned to Glory. It might also be worth asking. I think he knows a lot about undead stuff as well. So
Yeah, but do you really think he wants to talk to me right now?
he'll talk to me tonight.
Okay.
I think. I'm putting
I
on a
hope.
friendship here.
I hope you have enough friendship points.
Yes. Am I a left level friend?
Have I spent enough time grinding friendship to be able to do this?
Fucking Aiden is a goddamn Persona 5 confidant. God damn it.
Yes. That is exactly what he is right now.
So if you go talk to Percival quickly, I'll see if Aiden knows anything.
Let's do that.
Eclipse keeps coming to me with these flowers all the time, but they're just any flower she can find. Apparently, it works.
I said I like flowers once, and now I keep
The other day,
getting
she brought me a
daisies.
leek, and I felt slightly better about her. It's weird. So
You have achieved rank 2 with Aiden. Aiden will now take a mortal blow for you.
fantastic. So
Just wait till I get to the
go and
dating
ask
part.
Aiden the question. Why not?
Yes.
Shut up, man.
Yes. Sorry, Aiden. We're just noticing some things about. Have you noticed all the brooches that the soldiers are wearing and then turning in?
No, I've been spending most of my time looking into the bottom of this. I imagine they gave me like a tankard or something.
Yeah.
They-
Yeah, you've got like a tankard and a mini keg. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been staring at the bottom of this tankard, so no, I haven't noticed.
Okay. Anyway, they've got but we noticed they are enchanted both with abjuration and necromancy, and we can't really think of anything that would use both of these magics. Do you have any idea?
Good question. Do I have any idea?
Aiden, I will accept from you, Aiden, history, arcana, or religion.
Okay.
Pick your poison.
I have equal amount in arcana and religion, so it won't really matter. Does my Hunter's Bane apply here or not?
Yes.
Alright,
Ooh.
so I get advantage.
Ooh.
That's a natural fucking 20.
Eclipse starts speaking, and you can feel yourself kind of glazing over and nodding to whatever inane drivel she's about to give you. And then suddenly, even through the haze of the rather powerful black beer that they've given you, you feel more awake than ever, and your adrenaline hits. Those two magic schools of magic you've only ever heard combined in one spell, and one spell only. It is primarily a necromantic spell, but it does use abjuration as part of its construct. You know this very well because some of the nastier undead that the Canelm family have hunted down were great fans of this spell. The spell is called Soul Cage, and it allows somebody, when they kill a person, to pull their soul into a object and then use them for things. So they can use it to heal. They can use it to question the soul inside. They can use it to take some of the experience of that soul and use it for themselves. There was one necromancer that was taken down by your great uncle who used the experience of a very good enchanter after he had killed him to make a very, very nasty suit of armor for a death knight. And then finally a thing called Eyes of the Dead, which you can use an action to name a place the humanoid saw in life, and it allows you to remotely view that location. Once again, this can be incredibly bad, and the one that you remember for Eyes of the Dead was a border fort that was owned by a minor baron and a lich, thankfully not a very powerful lich, managed to get one of the guards abducted whilst he was off duty and in the local tavern. He killed him, put the guard's soul into a locket, and every time he wore the locket he could see around the border fort, so when the attack happened he was able to direct his troops to exactly where would do the most damage. Now, there's only one thing that is making you feel slightly better about this item, and that is that it is a 6th level. Saying it in game, it is a necromantic spell of the 6th circle. Not many people can do it. Normally, if you find people who can do it, you're like, this is a problem, and you would normally call half the damn family, if they were still alive. You're pretty certain that nobody can produce that many brooches with a 6th level spell in it. So you feel it's probably something like a soul cage effect, but not quite there.
Where did you see this type of magic again?
On all the brooches that the soldiers are wearing? Glory discovered it and we're trying to find out what it is, and this is really bad.
Yes, I know it's a sort of spell that uses those two types of magic. It's really fucking bad, and if we don't leave this camp in, like, I don't know, 10 minutes, I will burn it to the fucking ground because it's really dangerous.
Right. Is there anything we can do? How bad are we talking here?
I'm talking kill someone, steal their soul, keep it in an item, and then use it for whatever the fuck you want. I'm talking like extremely bad war crimes here.
Right. But we gotta find Glory and Farewell and Quora right now.
Of course you fucking... Ugh.
I think come.
Don't let her get her hands on one of those brooches. I swear to fucking God.
Yes, it'll be fine. We can't get them anyway. Like,
I begrudgingly go with her.
Any fun in this group?
we tried to find the others. Do we find them between us?
She's talking to Aiden. Have I found Farewell?
Yeah, let's say you found Farewell. Farewell may well get other results. You never know. If you want to ask him.
Yes.
Sure.
Farewell. Are you okay after earlier? I have something to ask you, but we need to be quiet.
Why are you whispering when we're pretty alone?
Did you notice that all the soldiers are wearing this really pretty brooch with the purple gem on it?
Please don't steal the brooch.
No, but it contains both necromantic and abjuration magic, and I can't figure out what kind of spell uses those two. And neither can Eclipse, and she went to ask Aiden because he also knows a bit about it, but I thought I'd ask you because, you know, you're a Grey Cleric, you deal a little bit with it, considering the Raven Queen.
Kinda. It's a bit different, but sure, let me think on it. And I will tap into the vast streams of knowledge in my brain, see if this makes any sense to the boy at all.
Religion or history? For you?
I'd say a religion check on him is a good idea.
Depends on what he's proficient in.
It's usually
Religion
a
does
solid
normally go
choice for a
so.
cleric. Let's see what he chooses.
It will be religion because that's actually what I'm proficient in. As Corinne pointed.
Okay.
That is a 21.
21. Okay. So, first of all, yeah, you've heard of the soul trap spell, a soul cage spell. Also, for your proficient use of necromantic energy, you have something that the Canelms don't. So the Canelms hunt down undead. That's what they do. They never use... Well, they don't habitually use undead means and necromancy themselves.
Habitually use.
But your people do. You as the Raven Queen, bear in mind, she is a goddess of death. So all your powers are kind of necromantic powers. I mean, even the ones that they're primarily other spells and other schools of magic, they come from a necromantic source, and that's the Raven Queen herself. So you know that necromancy doesn't necessarily mean evil. That's why I hesitated to call Merrick a necromancer at the beginning, because it kind of labels him the wrong way. And you also know, on top of what Aiden knows, although you haven't got as much experience with the Soul Cage spell as Aiden does. You know of its ability because you know that's a complete abomination, because the Soul Cage actually denies the soul going to the Raven Queen and then to wherever it's supposed to be in the afterlife. So you know that is a prime heresy for your order. Yeah? The other thing you know about, just because it's part of your training, is the False Life spell. The False Life spell has a lot of elements of abjuration. It's a spell that protects, and it protects by drawing kind of free life energy. So things are living and dying, getting born, and or seeds germinating and then dying off all the time, just all the time. And as a result, there's energy flowing through the world that is the grand cycle of life and death. You're able, with the False Life spell, to draw some of that entropic energy around you to give you literally false life. And so when something hits you, instead of actually harming your body and getting rid of your life force, it gets rid of this thing instead. And sure, you'll get like a cut or a bruise or whatever, but you won't feel that bad about it. You'll feel still hale and hearty, you won't feel weak. And that's what the False Life spell does. And that has elements of abjuration as well. However, you have rolled enough to get past the red herring that would have been me naming the False Life spell. And you now join Aiden in realizing that the Soul Cage spell is a more likely candidate.
What are you doing, Simon?
Oh boy, this is interesting. And the army is using it.
You also know, Nick, that it's a very powerful spell, and it's unlikely that everybody is walking around with one of these spells strapped to them.
Yes. So
we need to leave.
Okay.
We need to leave very quickly.
Aiden and Eclipse should be by the carriage. We just need to grab Cora. And we'll talk about it on the way.
I expect by now Cora is walking back to the carriage or is at the carriage.
Sure.
Did we catch Cora?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I found out some stuff that's interesting.
So
yeah,
did
we did too, Cora. We did too. We'll leave and then we'll talk about it.
In the carriage, yes.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Have you guys gone back?
I'm guessing that Cora can see the grim faces of both Aiden and Farewell.
They are looking pretty sober right now. Considering Aiden's been in his cups, they are both looking
Not only that,
sober.
but you can tell that Aiden was started this day in a really bad mood. Whatever happened has put him in an even worse mood.
Yeah.
How is that ever possible?
It's always possible.
It's Aiden.
Once you hit, even when you think you hit rock bottom, he just grabs a pickaxe and goes even deeper.
To paraphrase, it's pissed off all the way down. So,
yeah. We have only begun to mine the salt.
Mm-hmm.
The lieutenant comes up to you and says, "Oh, leaving so soon, but I hope you enjoyed your stay with us."
Oh, it was absolutely lovely. Thank you for all the help.
Perception check,
But
Glory.
Perception check.
Yep.
Fuck. Fuck.
Ooh.
Fuck.
Ooh.
Fuck. Fuck. Fuck.
Fuck,
Fuck.
fuck, 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 fuck.
Told you
That's
not to steal
fine.
from them.
That's
I
a
told you not to
17
steal
plus
from them.
4. That's a 21.
21. You notice that the lieutenant's not wearing a brooch.
Okay. I haven't taken a
Um,
vote.
Cora and... Let's see... Cora can also do a perception check or a history check. Farewell can do it with disadvantage. And Eclipse can do it with... Yeah, I'll give you disadvantage as well. Just because you're focusing on something else. Perception or history for Eclipse, Farewell, and Cora. Farewell and Eclipse do it with disadvantage.
Yeah.
Okay. I rolled 214, so that's 17.
Okay.
I wasn't at disadvantage, was I?
No.
21 for me.
I'm a
Disadvantage.
Oh!
Yeah, I rolled. I did exactly what Corinne did, and I rolled the same number twice.
Okay.
Good boy.
And finally, Kate.
I was a 17 as well.
Okay. The subject of conversation so far, I'm kind of keying Kate into this for when she does have the conversation, but at the moment Kate doesn't know why this is important. Well, sorry, Cora doesn't know why this is important, but Farewell and Eclipse will. And that is that you have noticed that there are people in the camp that aren't wearing the brooches. None of the captains are wearing it. None of the clerks are wearing it. None of the camp support staff, the cooks, the smiths, none of them are wearing it. And the clerks themselves that are collecting the badges, they're collecting them, but they don't wear them.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on, who is wearing them? Just soldiers?
All of the front line
Only
troops.
the one that fight.
The ones that die,
Yeah.
that go into the grinder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody. Well, we'll talk about about this when we're away.
We have 5 seconds. We have 5 seconds before Aiden shoots someone.
Okay, let's go, bye!
Yeah, we really need to hurry. I'm so sorry about that.
Bye! Bye!
I'm jumping in the coach already.
Yes.
Okay.
I am putting Aiden in like inside the coach so he doesn't like accidentally shoot someone out of their way, and I'll sit a guard.
Okay. In that
Yeah, but now
case-
you made the mistake. Now you made the mistake of putting Aiden in the same room as Glory.
Yes, but you
It's
guys need
gonna
to talk,
happen
so shut up.
eventually.
You guys need to
It's
talk.
a carriage,
so-
there is one room.
I know, but
Until you can get aboard in Kanan's magnificent carriage, which is effectively a small ocean-going sea liner, but inside a carriage, then you're stuck in one room. So the carriage
Yes, I was gonna say,
starts up again.
I want.
Hmm?
Go on.
I was gonna say I'd rather pick having Aiden in the same room as Gloria right now, rather than him starting getting us all arrested. So.
Yeah.
no, that's more than fair. I understand.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that is a valid thing right now. Oh boy.
But yes, let's go on. Sorry.
The carriage continues forward, and you start to leave the camp behind. The sycophantic lieutenant waves you on with a farewell, and you soon see the camp disappear around a corner.
Okay, is it safe to talk now? Maybe.
And
Hopefully.
you're back on the road. If you would like to fill everybody else in your discovery.
Yes. So, I noticed these brooches that everyone was wearing, and me and Eclipse couldn't figure them out.
They're
And
soul cages.
yes,
They trap souls
Of
in
a
them.
type.
yeah. And
I'll jump back in and talk to them because we're safe at the moment.
yeah.
But is the carriage open so we can see out the sides?
Yeah, there's a door. There's a door either side with a window in it.
Yeah. So we
She's
have.
just gonna fucking.
She's just gonna parkour
He's
down.
Spider-Manning down, just hanging.
Yeah.
I have a climb speed. Like I can climb on this thing.
As a cat, she can naturally kind of do this. I mean, and also
Yeah.
the carriage isn't going super fast. I mean, it is a mail coach,
Yeah.
so it can pick up the speed. But at the moment,
I'm
they're
gonna be
going at
waving
a,
her in though. We're having a discussion. If
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
hanging outside, blowing in the wind is just like
Yeah.
doesn't
That-
feel
that-
like.
yeah,
I
I'll
mean,
go
Eclipse
in.
could vault off the back of the carriage, run up to the door, open it, and leap in. It wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
They haven't got to the point where they're running the horses out yet.
Yeah. But yes, I'll go in to where
Right.
they are.
Sure.
So
Carry on.
a soul cage. What
Yes.
does that really mean?
Soul
Do I
cage.
know- or shall I? Hold on, DM. Do I maybe know what this spell is so that I can not delay?
I'm going to say, for the purposes of the conversation, they explain what a soul cage is rather than just saying
Yeah.
the soul cage spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And the fact
Okay.
that only the soldiers were wearing them,
Oh,
which means
fuck.
that they either are collecting the souls of the people dying
Or
on the
the
battlefield,
soldiers
or
are
the
becoming
soldiers
batteries
that
as they die.
them. Yes.
Well, again, that's not quite correct.
Did
Soul cages can also, you can tap it for life. So it doesn't necessarily, it might not necessarily work if they die. It might work if their enemies die. You kill somebody in front of
Either
you
way-
and you trap the soul within, and
That
you
is
can draw on it to
quite-
heal you or learn stuff or borrow somebody's expertise.
Either way, making a soul cage, just fucking doing the spell, means that you are really a really powerful necromancer. Not everyone just does that one randomly. You have to know that
More than
shit.
that, it's an incredibly powerful, complex spell. and-
then?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, well, a shit ton of money, a shit ton of people, maybe.
Or
But,
both.
yeah.
Well, as you said, you can use it as battery. I imagine that would sell for quite a lot.
Well, especially if it's you capture your enemy's soul in it. But yeah, you probably could. But there's
Okay, so not only are they wasting a bunch of lives throwing soldiers at pointless wars, they're also wasting the lives of the people they kill. Essentially.
Yes.
Twice, somehow. Twice. I don't know what can we do about it. Like,
Huh.
very little at the
I mean, that is
guys,
it. What I
Guys,
Yes,
I just
what?
had a absolutely horrendous thought.
Oh,
What-
great!
what-
You
Another one.
see, previous to the ball, I had heard rumors about the Residium trade in Ostergold. How they were producing
Oh,
and
shit.
selling a lot, despite it being an import for the city.
Yeah. And you
Okay,
need,
so
you
now
need
we
to sacrifice a soul over it to get the red.
So now we know why the Duke is like doing pointless wars, and it's not just because he wants to feel like his dick is big. So
I would caution against jumping to assumptions.
Of course not. We shouldn't jump to conclusions, but it might be a good thought to have in the back of our minds
It's,
in case we run into any more evidence.
I want to
To
throw
the
up.
contrary.
I want to throw
That-
up. Disgusting.
Yes.
that's a very. That's an amazing.
It's an amazingly horrible thing.
As
Nobody back home has thought of it yet.
well, I'm glad that you haven't.
So am I, surprisingly.
Uh,
Not even your worst enemies deserve that kind of fate.
So, I'm thinking how. I'm gonna say it's amazing you made that connection. Not this being an amazing thing, but you actually thought of them. Have you guys talked to us about the red residium yet that you found? Are you gonna tell us now?
No.
Because that would be really good for all of us to know when we made this discovery.
No.
The meta pigeon, Karin.
meta
The meta pigeon.
We don't do
It's
med.
completely out of our heads right now. There is too
Yeah,
much
there's
going
no-
on. There's a lot
Would
of time
it be
in
out of your head when, like, we're talking about the red residium and you guys are like,
No, we're
Because-
talking about
We
residuum.
talked about residium, not red residium. We
Yeah.
don't know that shit exists.
You don't. Farewell does, and
Cora
Yeah.
does and Eowyn does.
that's it.
Fuck, how long until we get to...
And not just that,
Fuck, I forgot.
there are a lot of other things on his mind, especially considering what he's about to go and have to do.
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, I
yeah.
think we can actually check that.
Check
huh?
what?
What?
Check what?
Check if the brooches stole the souls of their enemies, because the captain gave me the locations of one of their mass graves.
Alright.
Graves of their soldiers or the enemy? Surely they wouldn't bury the
How-
enemy.
How far out are we?
You well,
Probably
you've
only
just
10
turned the
minutes,
corner.
if
You've
that.
had maybe an hour's ride for this
Oh,
conversation
okay.
with all the explanations that we've kind of
Yeah.
gone through.
Okay.
Take me to the
J-
grave.
What?
Which grave?
War, though.
Which one?
Why
Any-
though? What are we doing? This war is waged by the Duke of Ostergald. What are you planning to do? You can't fight that. Like we're five
Well-
people. Like
What am I supposed to do? It's my duty to make sure that they continue in the cycle. And if he is breaking that duty, I have to do something.
I understand that, but
At the
I
very
understand,
least,
let's
tell
at
the
least
rest of
find
the
out, but-
church, I
Well,
suppose.
fine. I get it. I get it, but I don't think this is some like there were hundreds of soldiers there. Hundreds.
I still say we could take a look.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's find out some more on our way, but remember why we're also here.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're
No,
missing
I understand,
quite
I
some
just-
memories.
Maybe I don't know. Where is the grave in comparison to where we're going? Is it best to do it on the way there or on the way back?
Serious discussion in character moment gets derailed by a joke.
Yeah,
My dungeon master shit posting, setting a good example for everybody. You'll remember this time.
yeah. Yes,
I
we will.
couldn't get it up on the feed fast enough, so I just brought it up on my phone. Sorry, carry on. I do apologise.
Let's do it on the way back. I'm already anxious enough as it is, having to dig somebody up.
I mean,
yes,
isn't this
that-
guy part of? Doesn't he do necromancy stuff? Maybe he is the key
He's
to all
not.
this anyway.
He's not a necromancer, at least I don't think so.
But he has a necromantic thing, so it might all be related. Maybe
I
that
think he's an
thing.
idiot. If I'm honest,
You think what?
I think he's an idiot, and he's a mage that got in over his head. And,
He made a deal with the
He
wrong
might
people.
not be the first.
yeah, it could be that he was perhaps creating these things, and
That's kind of my point. Maybe he
Yeah.
has one of the brooches. Maybe that was the thing that was glowing. Let's go there, find out, and then we can see.
We'll
we can
see.
go from there.
Yeah.
I agree.
Let's find this grave.
Glory, do you know if what you said earlier, is it possible to turn people into Residium?
Ooh, now that's a fascinating idea, I suppose. I mean, souls can serve as living batteries for enchantments and different spells and such. I guess you could figure out a way to distill it into Residium.
Yes, you know it, Simon.
Thus, I come to that conclusion.
You are determined to find out about red lyrium in one way or another.
Red lyrium, thank you very well.
Yeah, red lyrium.
You know me, I'm just like you. We're all Dragon Age trash.
Yes.
So I'm going to say that Glory has a theory, and that's it. Glory has a theory. Glory is going through the process. She's been given what she's been given, and she has a theory. If you want to do an Arcana check to see whether or not you can refute her theory, then that would be one thing. But yeah, other than that, that is her belief. She believes it's possible.
I suppose I could do some research on it back in the library and see if I can figure out a way that it would be possible, but at the same time, who knows?
You do know, and this is everybody who either has proficiency in Arcana or History. You do know that there are famous weapons throughout this world that do have the souls of previous powerful beings in
Sort
them.
of cause, for example.
Some of them are considered cursed. Some of them are considered that these souls are guardians that willingly went into a weapon. The only one where there's a reasonable history of the weapon being made is a dwarven dagger, of all things. Dwarves mostly known for their axes and hammers. There's a throwing knife called sashul. Sashul is a double-ended dagger, so it's kind of a hooked dagger that comes out in a kind of an S shape with a handle in the middle. And it is well known. It is in the Thunderhead, the city of Thunderhead, in the Thunderhead mines, and it's currently wielded by the elder of that society. And this is a throwing knife that, once it is thrown, will operate on its own, so like a spiritual weapon. And it's well known that the soul inside is of a disgraced dwarf who allowed himself to be bound into the dagger as a penance for his dishonor. So he betrayed his clan, and the thing that makes this particularly dramatic is that he's the one who started binding his own soul into the dagger and then killed himself by cutting his own throat with the dagger, thereby sealing himself inside. And it's known because it actually managed to save the then king of that area. It was held by the king for the longest time until the Accord. So the dwarves no longer have kings. There's no such thing as a king of dwarves. They are all elders and lords. So they are either lords of that particular country, but there's no dwarven nation anymore in terms of a sovereignty. They have instead just a cultural continuum throughout Illyria, which has stopped them getting into a lot of wars, because they now own things according to the local land ownership laws, and that's worked out in Vardencore, Meridia, the Kelterlands, Ostram. The only place where it's slightly different is the Synod of North Vardencore. So after the civil war with North Vardencore, and I appreciate this is a bit of a lore dump. If you want to know more, I can quite happily tell you off stream, where they have a synod there, and that's kind of mysterious, but it's supposedly dwarves and warforged create the synod, and that's kind of like some sort of senate where they all get together and make decisions through a particular voting process. But as far as you're concerned, that's the only reference that anybody who has the proficiencies that I've named. Sashul is a very, very famous dagger, and that does have a soul inside, and not only does the soul control the dagger, but it also powers the magical effect. So that's as much as I'll give you as a groundwork as to why you would believe that Glory's theory might hold weight. but normally
Yeah.
you need the intact soul, and you can't just grind a soul up into dust, so there may be more there.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Right.
But as I said, it's just a theory. I would love to do some more research on it, because now that you mention it, that is quite a fascinating possibility, and I would very much like to kill the one who came up with it.
Right.
Because I don't know about you, but nobody will touch my soul. Okay?
Belle's just going to be lost in his book for however long this journey is. He's
Okay.
going to be scribbling away.
Sure.
I'm gonna go. If everything is calm in here, I'll go back out and sit and.
I found out some stuff that's less mass gravy.
Oh, sorry.
Gravy.
Yeah, that makes me
Sorry,
so hungry.
I'm drinking. Again, I'm in an extremely bad mood, so I'm drinking.
It was a very unpleasant experience in there. What did you find out?
Well, I found out some stuff about our man, or where we're going at least.
One
That's
foot.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I pretended to be his niece. It seemed to work.
Right.
Okay.
And they have these messengers, these Oviets or something, and she was able to talk to someone in Wagenford. Ford.
Warnford.
I wrote that very
Warnford.
quickly.
Yeah, so it's Vaughan as in the name, and then Ford.
Ford, yes.
On
I
board.
scribbled it. Anyway,
Who is typing?
what do I
'Cause
remember?
can hear it.
It's our DM.
Yep. Apologies.
Aggressive note taking.
Yes. No, I think he's chatting.
It's like bloody pigeons all over my game. Just making life difficult.
So basically, sounded like the fight. That he had help. Merrick had help from people in the town. I don't know who.
That might pose a problem if they recognize us.
Exactly.
Right.
Assuming, of course, with the people that weren't helping.
Well, that's true. We
Yes.
don't know. Apparently, it was some ne'er-do-wells, which could well mean us or somebody else, to be honest.
To be honest with you, knowing what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks not included, it's a good chance we class as ne'er-do-wells now.
Exactly. But anyway, they talked to the Oviet there, who's oh gosh, Emil? Is it Emil that I'm talking about, or no? Or Hesper?
Hesper. Hespus, I think.
Hespus is the one in town, or the one I spoke to?
The one in town, I think it
The
was.
one in town, I think, was Hespus.
It's Emil. Oh,
hang
shit.
on. Let me just check.
I thought it
Yeah,
was
sorry.
Emil.
Hesper was the person that was there with you. Emil
Yeah,
is
and
the
Emil.
person to go and speak to. And
Yeah,
Emil,
and,
they said Emil will kind of point out. Will talk more about it.
Yeah. So
Right.
and the mayor apparently was a casual acquaintance and might want to talk more. But again, if we're the people that they're hunting, then that could be bad.
You can disclose yourself, can't you, Cora Eclipse?
Yes, I was gonna say, me and Cora can go, and we can be looking as random townspeople, and we
Isn't
can.
Eclipse now sitting shotgun?
I would have called her in.
I know. I've just got this mental image of her doing a full cat thing, where like most of her body's on top of the carriage, but her head is well and truly in at that weird, uncomfortable angle for anybody else. But because she is like obviously a cat person, it's perfectly natural for her.
Yeah.
And she's just hanging on.
Yeah.
and she's just there.
Yeah.
And then occasionally she'll just be like, and then she'll just come back into the carriage.
Yep. Keeping a
So-
lookout.
It makes sense if Cora and Eclipse can figure out
Can anybody
what's going.
else do anything? I mean, I have some spells that might help. I can cast invisibility on somebody. And I have minor illusion, but I don't think that's gonna do any good. Has anyone got? You've got a hat of disguise, right?
Yes,
does
that's
anyone
what I'm saying.
But do we have a disguise kit or anything? Anybody?
Well, I was going to ask, can you use magical disguise, Eclipse, or is it just your hat?
It's just my hat at the moment.
Okay.
I switched out my disguise self spell because I didn't need it anymore with the hat.
Well, it kind of makes sense, yeah.
There's three other people in the party who can't disguise themselves.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fairness, Aiden would blend into the background. Glory and Farewell, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
okay.
think me and Farewell will have to sit back while you guys find out some more information.
I would suggest starting at the church at least, if there is
Yes.
one here.
Sure.
Talk Oviet and then the mayor while we
Yeah, the Oviate was at the burial apparently, so they'll know.
I
Where he
suppose
is
we
and things.
could. Yeah, once we know where the grave is, we can start actually looking for things. But yeah, best you guys take the reins. We
I mean, to be
stand
honest,
out.
I could pretend to be the same niece. They already know that I'm, coming, so that would be probably my first choice.
Yeah,
Sense.
that is the best course of action, I think. You pretend to be the niece. Eclipse is your lovely bodyguard.
Well, I can just turn into whatever, so I can either be her mom or sister or whatever.
You'd look a bit weird, because won't you be bigger than her?
Yes,
But
but she's
bodyguard is probably a good thing. They already told me to
I mean,
be
that's
careful
just a
coming to
really-
this place.
And it would be
Strange
standard for
conversation.
a young woman travelling the road, even in Vardencourt, to have some form of some sort of caravan guard. Like Amelia.
well, she got two.
Amelia, what happened to her?
Dude, too soon. Just
She was about to die.
Amelia,
I was
we
always
barely knew you.
fancy
It's almost
the
like someone
dog.
put you in there so you could have a grisly death. So,
Stop reaching behind the veil, dude. Come on.
okay, so you carry on with your discussions and things for some time. The only thing of major note on the road is around about, I'd say about 2 hours after this conversation starts, punctuated by many cabbages, yes, is
Yes.
Cabbage,
A
cabbage,
small
cabbage,
convoy
cabbage,
comes
cabbage,
towards you.
carrot.
and
Oh, courage.
there's a the first thing you notice is that the horse is pulling this this closed carriage. It's got a brace of 4 horses. All 4 horses are wearing armor, which
Okay.
looks a bit strange because horses that are pulling don't normally wear armor. It's different armor to the warhorse armor that you've seen. It does allow them to be set to the yoke that's pulling this thing, and the armor actually is missing on one side. So you notice that there's 2 sets of armor where the right side is missing and 2 sets of armor where the left side is missing, and then they are yoked together so that the undefended side is against the yoke. The carriage itself has got a seat at the top for the carriage driver. There are 2 carriage drivers and 2 shotguns. So, where previously Aiden was on top and guarding, there's 2 there. But then there's an extra 4 guards on top of the carriage itself. There are no goods on top of the carriage. Normally there's, like your mail coach that you've got, there's a bunch of stuff up there just strapped to the top, tents and rope and all sorts of other stuff. There is nothing, absolutely nothing on the top of this carriage. The carriage is made out of very heavy oak beams studded with black iron, and then it's got bands of iron going around it as well, so that it's all braced together. So trying to pull these very heavy oak beams away to get inside would be nigh on impossible. And you can also see that the studding has the kind of pattern that you think between the slats that there'll be some sort of metal bradding underneath as well. So this is an incredibly secure carriage. Now,
it's an armored carriage, in other words.
Heavily armoured. Even the horses are armoured. And because you can see the horses are breathing very, very heavily, you're not surprised to find that behind the carriage there are 4 more horses that have the same kind of barding but no armour. And you have a feeling that these are the horses that they switch out. So they switch the horses on a regular basis, so that you've got the horses behind who aren't carrying the yoke and the armour, so they're having a rest and they're just walking, and then the ones in front are the ones taking the whole hit. There's a column either side, single file, of guards as well, who are marching either side of it. You do notice that the people who are marching either side of it are soldiers. They are...
Right.
Do they wear brooches?
No, they're officers. They're not wearing brooches. And the guys who are on the top, so the 2 shotguns and the 4 people who are on top, are private citizens, mercenaries. And Eclipse, I'm not even going to get you to roll for this. You take a look at them and you go, those aren't the best sort of mercenaries. Those are cold-blooded killers. They are private security of the kind that does not fuck around.
Okay, do I know them? Just by...
Give me a straight charisma check. With proficiency.
Charisma with proficiency, cool.
I would hope our wonderful bounty hunter isn't hanging around with scum.
14.
14? No.
I've seen them once or twice.
Bounty hunter.
One of them is giving you deja vu, but for the most part, you kind of once you've seen one moody guy wearing black with really cool looking swords and a crossbow, you've seen them all.
No wonder Aiden looks so familiar to her.
He has a unique look to him compared to these guys. These guys have just got kind of, dialer thug written all over them. And
they are stereotypical fantasy emos.
yeah.
Yes.
No, they're stereotypical fantasy bad guys.
Do you need me to say his name again, or are we just going to continue calling him out? It's a bit cruel. I mean, we've already made the joke twice.
So, you also notice that the 2 carters are wearing armour as well. And, okay, Stuart's wearing, leather armour, but these guys are wearing armour. Full-on armour. And you do notice that they have what is a kind of, almost like a, I'll use the reference, like a Lannister helmet next to them. So it covers all of the head apart from the front, but it has got a visor that can kind of be clipped across so that they can carry on driving this thing forward, even though they're having arrows and spears and God knows what else thrown at them.
Right?
I kind of hesitantly wave at them and do you guys know who they are? That's as a hesitant, be like, hello, and then just kind of go back to ignoring them.
As you wave to them, the soldiers don't react at all, the carters don't react at all. You get glowered at by the 6 thugs. Absolutely glowered at, as if to say, stay the fuck away, I will kill you as soon as look at you.
Okay, we'll stay away and not bother them, because that would be stupid.
Okay. Yeah. The carriage passes and the only thing I'll give you extra to what I've already told you is that the carriage itself seems to be quite heavily laden with something.
Is the carriage got windows?
No. It seems to be a giant chest on wheels, effectively.
So it's basically a treasury cart.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Spoils of war, maybe?
Or payroll for the army.
Could be.
It's something far more sinister considering the brooches we found.
Yes, it might be just a bunch. That might be the Residium.
Possibly.
I
It's
could
not
always
our
vamp
problem.
in as they cross, but vamping out would be hard.
Yeah.
Is your detect magic still up? Do you want to just like do?
Can I just
It is not
look at
still
it
out.
while we go past?
Absolutely. Yeah, you absolutely can. I just need to check something to see what you see, but yeah, you can put your opal up to your eye. And let's see.
Just casually looking out through my hand.
You're just one of those enigmatic people that's just like, oh.
We all know Glory's a dramatic bitch, and we all love it.
Yes. He is our
Yes,
very
he does.
extra character.
No party would be complete without one.
Also, Rattles, please do not give the DM any ideas. It's bad
Please don't.
as it is, let alone having to come up with that kind of shit.
I've got to do that at some point. They're guarding a gigantic mimic that is a siege weapon. I love it. Yeah.
No!
Fuck your Trojan horse. We have a mimic.
We have a giant ooze.
Yeah, we've
you know,
got a
dogs
mimic
are-
that's going to be a big boy. Right, okay. I've just checked a mechanical thing. Glory,
Yes.
you look at the surroundings. So you can see that the horses are all wearing magic +1 armor.
Okay.
All of the officers are wearing +1 armor, and their swords have a kind of extra effect. They do extra damage. Mechanically, I'm going to say the amount of evocation there, you're expecting that they probably do an extra weapon damage per hit. And
Those are nice weapons.
yeah, oh yeah, they are much better than the average officer. There are a variety of magical weapons on the thugs. Just kind of like, take a pick from the default magic item list, and they've got a smattering of those. You can see everyone is carrying a greater healing potion, and the thing that's most noticeable is that the very large carriage that you'd expect to have some sort of magical protection has no magical signature whatsoever.
So it's either thick enough not to show it, or there is nothing in it.
Or it's protected. Non-detection.
Fascinating. I relay that information. Cause that's actually Ooh, now you're doing me a confused.
I would very much like us to get anyone away from soldiers.
Well, the good news is that neither
agree.
that carriage or your carriage has stopped, so this is something that you did as a moment of rubbernecking, and now you're just carrying on.
Yeah.
But I would like
Yeah.
it if we got as far away from them as fucking possible.
Well, you'd be pleased to know you're heading opposite directions, because they cross with you, so
Yes.
as time goes on,
Quite
you will be
clearly.
further and further away by default.
Rebels, I think our break is in like 10 minutes.
Yep, so
Yeah.
for us it's 10 minutes time until our break.
Yes.
Right.
Well, interesting.
If you guys
Okay.
are happy with everything and you don't want anything else checked with me,
No.
we will carry
No.
on. you start to see that the fields are going into smaller farms. Instead of these large farms, probably owned by some kind of underbaron or something like that, or a squire that's under Duke Ostermark's command. You're getting closer and closer to a town, and so you're seeing citizen farms, and you're seeing various things. So you're seeing kind of corn crops, you're seeing chickens, you're seeing goats.
Weren't we going to the mass grave?
No, that was on the way back, Karen.
Oh, way back. Okay.
You guys agreed that you were going on the way back. And as you're passing, I'm going to just do a quick roll for somebody.
Oh no.
Oh
no, I don't like this.
You all get dysentery and die. It's the Oregon Trail. It wasn't Dungeons and Dragons after all.
Right, so you do hear something. You've got the windows open. Nice fresh air coming through because at Eclipse you're on the top, and suddenly you hear that there's a guy who's feeding a bunch of goats, and he goes, "Farewell, bare bones. Ha! Safe home and praise the gods for it. It's good to see you here again, lad. Good to see you here."
You know it?
And he just waves as you go past.
Shall we stop? Do you want to speak to him?
He had good eyesight. Were you sticking your head out the window?
I may have, when I heard my name, I think that would have been my immediate reaction to have gone,
got a 19 on perception. He just looked up and saw Farewell through the window.
You know him? Or do you think it's someone we saw on the way through?
Hold on.
Should we stop?
Stop, please.
Stop, Stuart!
And the carriage has stopped. Stuart climbs down and gives the horses a little bit to eat.
You found a friend. It's worth talking to them, maybe.
You think they're probably just under an hour's ride outside of Thornford, based on the
we'll quickly.
Will you come with me, Cora? You know I don't like meeting new people.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, we can all come if you want.
We're all come.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I could be stretching my legs anyway. It's cramped and smelly in there. Let's go.
Well, I'm
Why the
going to
windows
go
are
with
open.
you and Cora. You guys can stay here.
I
You realize that they're setting us up, right?
Don't leave me out! Don't leave me out!
As soon as I realize that, I'm just gonna sit shotgun again.
Okay. So you climb up onto the carter's seat, Aiden. So you notice that the guy smiles at Eclipse, and as Farewell comes out, he kind of gives a bit of a warm smile. This guy's got kind of sandy-coloured hair. He's got what looks to be it seems to be between a stubble and a beard. The type of guy who probably only shaves when it gets to a certain length and starts pissing him off, and then just kind of grows it all over again.
I know that feel.
He's got scars over his face. He's got one scar that shows some sort of injury that narrowly missed his eye. He's got heavily calloused hands, huge biceps, wide shoulders. He's kind of ripped. But kind of with a humble bearing. So he's there throwing about these bales and things, and really effortless, like just this absolute workhorse of a man. Human.
Does he look familiar?
And he seems slightly tanned as well, so he's been out quite a lot. Sorry, what was that, Nick?
I was going to say, does he look familiar?
I will let you do. If you've got history, you can have proficiency, but otherwise just an intelligence check.
I was gonna say, can I do the same while we're all walking out?
You can, because as you step out, Cora, he goes, and Cora as well. Good to see you, lads.
Does he recognize me?
Oh yeah, he gave you a smile, and the smile suggested he knew you. So yeah.
Okay.
17.
Okay. With the 17, unfortunately, you look at him and you're kind of like, I'm convinced he knows me, but I don't recognize him at all.
Oh, that moment.
So it's just intelligence.
Unless you're trained in history, in
No.
which case I'll let you do history.
They're both intelligence based.
Yeah.
Got it.
5. I have no clue who this guy is.
Yeah.
Well, you better start
15.
bullshitting.
So yeah, 15. No, you don't recognize him as well. As you start walking towards him, he kind of gives a bit of a smile, and he goes off and grabs an earthenware jug that you notice he's kind of put under a bush, pulls out the earthenware jug, and it's one of those big Somerset cider jugs, which I'm sure will only make sense to Nick and Kate. And he puts his thumb in there, pulls off the stopper, and kind of balancing the jug on his forearm, takes a hefty swig of it, puts the cork back in, and puts it kind of pointedly on a hay bale that's right next to the fence, so that when you guys walk up to it, clearly he's offered it to you. But he's offered it to you in such a casual way that he doesn't seem to need to hold on to the etiquette of actually offering it to you. He's just put it within arm's reach.
How do you know this guy?
He reaches down again and pulls out what seems to be a kind of hefty looking bag, opens it up, and it has in it bread and cheese, and it's a kind of a leather bag, and you have a feeling probably would keep things quite cool in there. He's just kind of basically put fare on the nearby hay bale as you're walking towards him, and as he's waiting for you to get to him, I mean, you just need to get out the carriage and walk maybe 15 foot. He carries on feeding these goats who are coming up and trying to nibble his trousers.
Okay. Do we play that we know him, or do we play that we have lost our memory and see if he knows how to help? Or one of us. I could pretend I had a bad fall and I've forgotten lots of stuff.
I would say with this one, honesty is the best policy.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay.
There's no need for subterfuge. You do not offer what little you have to those that you cannot trust.
No, and I feel like we've clearly spent a decent amount of time with him, so maybe we were here for quite a few of the weeks or something? I don't know.
Or at least in the area. So,
Definitely. Okay.
Yes.
I would trust him.
Yes.
My gut tells me to trust him.
Hello, friend. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, well, that's.
As well as if you have coin.
Yes.
I'm afraid I got none of that dried fish this time round. It's just going to be bread and cheese and a little bit of dried beef.
That's perfectly fine. I'm really sorry. But we don't remember you because we lost our memories. We have 3 weeks of lost memory, but you clearly know us.
Yeah, maybe you can help shed some light. Something happened to us and we're trying to track down what.
That's not joking with me.
No, it really isn't, friend. And we have no idea who you are.
No, you clearly know who we are.
There's no memory of me at all.
Unfortunately
No,
not, and
I'm
you
very
seem like a
sad,
great
'cause-
person to have known.
Oh.
Yes, I'm very sad because you seem to have been extremely nice to us.
Hi, well, we spent plenty of time down pub together, so,
How long
I'm
did
really
we
sad
stay
now.
around then?
you need to go and speak to Alderman, don't you? I mean, I guess he knows a smattering of the magic, but not as much as you do.
What
Let me go get Bess, and we'll Bess, come on, lass, come on. and he whistles, and this old scraggy dog, although quite large. I mean, old but very very large. I mean, she's
Is he like a size of me almost?
Wait, is the dog
this
gonna
dog
chase
is
him?
about
Like-
3 foot high.
Yeah, I'm 3'1".
It-
3'1".
Yeah, it's like a Great Dane. It's kind of like a Great Dane,
It's a massive
but
dog
with like
riding into battle.
a shaggy not elk hound. What is it? Wolfhound. Like a shaggy wolfhound coat, and it's 3 foot high of solid dog. But you can tell quite old, and it's got that kind of loll in its head in the sun. Even though this is coming to the colder months, you're in last seed now, which is effectively September. So it is getting a bit cold, but you can tell the sun's kind of beating down nicely today. This is an open plain, and
What was the name of the dog again?
Bess.
Bess. Has he told us his name yet? No.
No, yet he hasn't said his name yet. And he goes, "Come by, girl, come by." And he kind of closes the bag, puts the there's like a kind of iron clip that's on the leather strap, and he hooks the scrumpy bottle to it, and he says, "If you want, I'll go and sit next to your driver there." And I think this is probably beyond us. I'm not sure what we can do.
We're not looking for you guys to fix it. We're just asking if you have any idea what we've done. We were able to piece together a little bit what we've done in the week we were in the city, but we have no idea what we did when we were out here. So
I can help you with this problem. Yeah.
When were we here?
They turned up. Let's see. They turned up about a week and a half ago. No, it was a spot. It was a spot longer. It was a spot longer, and you turned up and you were looking for Merrick. God's rest his soul. And you came in and you asked about him, and you spoke with him, and we
spoke with Merrick.
And you was getting on as kind of fine friends and all that, and then that. Oh God, you don't know.
We know he's dead, but we don't know.
Oh well, and you can see the relief on his face as this guy realizes he doesn't have to tell you that your friend is dead, and he's there like, well, it was the assassins, wasn't it? In the marketplace, you know, that they came and they killed him.
Right, so we didn't kill him.
He suddenly goes white as a sheet. He goes,
a little bit more tact.
She's a cat, she doesn't have any.
That wouldn't kill Merrick.
No. The thing is, we didn't know what had happened, and we were really, really scared.
I suppose that's going to worry that you accidentally killed him or something. Yeah, okay. So. These like assassins turned up and killed him.
You were there?
No, I was.
How did you know then? Did we tell you, or did someone else?
Well, the locals told me when I woke up I was dead drunk at the time.
That's
Right.
a fair thing.
Who's Locus?
Hmm?
Locus, who is that?
Locals.
Oh,
locals.
locals.
He's
Accent.
Okay.
Did they happen to describe these assassins?
They had they had like these robes on, like, and they had this there's knives that appeared in their hands, they knew magic as well, and they were like appearing and disappearing, and they were on like rooftops, and then they were down by him, and yeah, they stabbed him bad.
Right. Right.
I mean,
So we can-
if it makes you feel better, you you killed them. you killed them all. But when you killed them, their daggers disappeared and their robes disappeared, and there was nothing on them. They were just like wearing linens, and they looked like everybody else. Like,
Right.
Did they get buried somewhere as well? Maybe we could look at them.
yeah, they were buried, and Farewell did a ritual over them so they wouldn't come back. Like,
That's good.
You're not there, Felicia.
Oh, right. You guys aren't in the carriage yet, right?
No.
No, we're out talking.
No.
Come out.
So then-
I imagine because he's gathered all his stuff, this is on the walk towards.
this is
Sure.
on the walk
Yeah.
towards the carriage as he's got his he's got his dog, his lunch bag, and all the rest of it. He's satisfied that he's thrown enough stuff down for the goats. No, you don't know that. You don't know that at all. So yeah, he's walking with you to the carriage.
So,
Yes, Corinne.
shall we have a quick break?
Oh yeah, that trampled over by 7 minutes. Okay,
Yes.
everybody, we will be having a quick break now as we recoup.
Can I ask his name just before we have a break?
Yes.
I'm Bradford.
Friend, what's your name?
I'm
Bradford. Human.
Bradford.
There we go. Now we can take a break.
Yeah.
He's
Yes.
human.
Yep. Bradford is a human male.
Human. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Important
All
information.
right. See you guys after our break.
See you in a little bit.
See you then.
Bye bye.
can't Earth protect us?
Why don't you like them?
You don't know them as I do.
I know they saved us from the marked ones.
There's only one reason why they're being Lingard.
But no one here has ever seen a marked one. Who are you? Get out of here!
Amari spirit. It's found a new vessel. I'm marked.
What have you done, Ren?
You won't go away, will you, Ren?
I can't leave. My family needs me.
All the people you know will think you're evil, dangerous. They will hunt you down.
Anyone caught harboring a mark will be punished. Anyone caught helping a mark will be punished. Anyone caught in support of a mark will be punished.
Welcome back, everybody. So it's been a bit frantic behind the scenes as these guys are now putting together as many facts as they can and coming up with theories. I'm afraid I started the poll a little late, so what I will do is... have I put the timer on here? I have indeed. So let's pop the timer up. No, good timer. Good timer. Calm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just put, let's see, what am I going to put on here?
5 to 10 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. And it's not letting me do it. I'll just say at, what time is it now? It's 21:51 here. When it hits 10 o'clock, we'll count it there because my timer's playing up. So...
What was the time before? Sorry, I'm confused.
For the vote, I put the vote on too late.
Vote. Okay,
yeah, I was going to put the I put the vote on too late. I put it right at the end of the break. Normally, I put it on at the beginning of the break. So, You're travelling now the final 25-minute ride to Vaughnford, and you are accompanied by Bradford Mosley. Is the guy, is it, as he's introduced you?
Mosley.
Yeah, Bradford Mosley, and he explains that he's one of the outlying farmers. One of the quests that you did whilst you were in Vaughnford was to get rid of some gnolls who were coming in and killing livestock. Some of the livestock that they were killing were his goats. So he took you for a good piss-up to say personally thank you. I mean, you got paid by Mayor Alderman, who apparently
that
is
means
also
we
a friend
didn't
of
have
yours.
that gold. The bastards, they took our... This is in character, Felgus. Bastards.
Yeah, you did.
They took our memories and our gold!
Yeah, apparently so.
Well, they didn't get too many larger stacks, so it's fine.
Yeah, he points out that you have ingratiated yourself quite heavily with the people of Vaughnford. You are known faces. Everybody loves you. You are classical adventurer heroes, according to them. You have gone around the countryside surrounding Vaughnford, getting rid of anything that isn't fluffy and cute.
Made our way across the countryside. It was a space of 3 weeks.
The hobos.
Just killing anything that moves.
Rodrigo.
Is Vaughnford basically generic RPG starter town? And
It's kind of two towns over from generic starter town. It's a place where you really get into the level grinding, you know. There's
Let's say there's not one kid that's got like purple hair and a giant wings that come out of him, and everybody else just looks normal.
put it this way: giant rats are a thing of the past. You know, there are people who it's like giant rats. We haven't seen giant rats in generations. But then you've got they've had some of the more leveled up monsters dealing with them. They are kind of out in the sticks. You're, as I say, several days' ride from the nearest major city. They fend for themselves. It is a walled city, and the local farmers tend to be a very hardy folk. They know how to fight. They all have I was about to say metal buildings. They don't have metal buildings. They all have stone buildings, stone homes, heavily fortified. So if goblins come along, again, goblins are not a quest around here. Goblins are what the farmers take care of. It's the more skilled, faster, so bugbears, gnolls, some of the nastier races that can be found out here in the sticks, that they will be sending out adventurers for. Anything that's of, kind of starter level, they just ignore. They're just kind of like, oh, we'll kill them ourselves. Yeah, not a problem. So yeah, you're starting to see where some of your leveling has come from, being that you've obliterated anything that frowns within sight of the of
we
the town.
literally came to this town to level grind.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't so much that's why you came here. You know why you came here. But
no, I know, but
this is certainly what you did here. So what you did here was grind the hell up. So you're starting to see where your levels came from. Which kind of reassures you is that, suddenly being party to a large amount of power, especially the casters amongst you, you're there thinking, oh, did I get this power from a decent source? And now you're kind of getting, gnolls, that would have given me some chance to practice those spells, to to test those abilities.
Regular gnoll.
Yeah. So, yeah. You're starting to piece together some of the memories while you were here. By the looks of it, from what Bradford's talking about, I'm kind of meta-conversationing here to speed ahead, is he says that you turned up, started quizzing Merrick. At first it was very tense, and especially considering he's this kind of was Oh, this well-spoken, scholarly halfling
Could be
guy,
again.
and then these big bad adventurers turned up and kind of picking on this little guy, and he gave you all his answers. He showed you a bunch of things. You seemed happy with his answers, and yeah, you became fast friends. Was just like, well, we better go. And then you got the pouring in of quests that's like, while you're here, would you like to make some coin? And that was where you started level grinding, and you stuck around for a good week before you started having certain conversations with Merrick, and Merrick was concerned about something, and you were already packing to leave when Merrick got attacked. And he
Who's
got attacked.
telling us this? Is Bradford telling us this?
Yes, he's telling you all this.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the 25 minutes, instead of taking the 25 minutes, I'm giving you the conversation as is. And as far as he knows, you became fast friends with him. Then he became concerned about something. Everybody could tell that you were having very tense conversations in the tavern. You were staying at the tavern. And which is the Broken Plough. You were staying there, and you were already preparing to leave, and then Merrick got attacked by these assassins. He died during the combat, but you guys managed to kill the assassins.
I'm surprised we didn't raise him. Probably didn't have the diamonds.
I wouldn't have. If this happened 3 weeks ago, I wouldn't have been strong enough to death ward him.
Yeah.
No, but you would have been Vivify because we were just getting our third level spells.
But
Clearly it didn't happen.
I was going to work on the basis that I didn't get to him within a minute.
Because normally, well, if it was within the combat, but again, you might not have had the diamonds. But yes.
Okay. Sorry, got munchies. So, what, if anything, would you like to ask him before you hit the city, the town?
The city town.
We built this city town.
No, not really.
I'm quiet the entire ride.
So we were friends with almost everybody in the city, in town. The city town.
You seem to be in good favour, yeah.
This is gonna be awkward.
Okay, I have a question. Bradford, you said you were dead drunk and you weren't really there when the assassins attacked. Were you in the tavern at the time, do you know?
Well, I was in the tavern, to my shame, under a table.
It's okay. Yeah, fair enough. We have all been there. Do you happen to know who we might be best to talk to who was there? Like, with us, like, in the square when it happened, so they can give us answers of... I suppose you said we apparently killed them all, so we would know how many attacked and stuff, but... At least, where
so
they're buried, that sort of thing. Anything that we can use to find out more.
You was attacked by 6 assassins. As for the details, they stopped the gossip after a while because disrespectful and all that. So I'm afraid the only people who know the greatest deal about it all would be Emil, and well, Mayor Alderman himself.
If you wouldn't mind, as we don't know anyone anymore, could you maybe come with us and do the rounds and
that's why I'm coming with you. I'm going to make introductions.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I don't know. We probably don't want to go into the story with everybody, so some can be subtle. But anyway,
what you want is to just say that that you've been through some stuff, and we'll say that we'll tell people that you're not to be harassed and all that. Just to be friendly with you, like. So yeah, you'll get to know them again. Very simple enough. I mean, to tell you the truth, folk don't really bother each other around here much. So they didn't really bother you the first time. You'll know most of the people from whether or not you're drunk with them or if you did any gambling with them. And believe me, if you have any unpaid gambling debts, I'm sure they'll tell you first, so you won't need to have to worry about that. I'm sure you're gonna you're just gonna be able to blend in. It's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, we just don't want to seem rude when we don't recognize people, but we'll.
What did so what did the assassins throw spells as well, or like vials?
So they had these cruel-looking knives with stuff on them, but they also they were throwing like these shadow knives as well. It was a bad doing. It was. Yeah.
Right.
Does this description sound familiar?
Well, for Farewell and Gloria it is, because they've seen Eclipse throw a shadow knife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but I would not have that spell yet by that point, probably.
But you have since seen it.
Yeah, we have since seen it, and you can put two and two together. I'm going to hate myself for asking this, Simon, but these... When he describes the assassins, do these look similar to Farewell's nightmares or anything like that, or are these more indistinguishable shapes in his nightmare?
You don't feel any need to correlate the two.
Right.
Ominous.
Good.
Yeah. There's nothing that compels you to correlate the two.
Okie dokie. Cool. No, that's fine. I just wanted.
Okay. Cool. So let's.
Can you Farewell will ask him to point out where the graveyard is, because he's not in a very conversational mood. He just wants to get ready. So he'll ask where the graveyard is.
They commented on this last time you was here. So we have a slightly different way of doing things out here, and so we have a graveyard further away from the town than you have to your city. Largely because if things start turning bad, we don't want it anywhere near or inside the city. We kind of like to see it coming, like, and so yeah, we don't have the same layout as you do. You did go out to the graveyard when we was getting rid of the assassins, because as I say, Farewell there did a prayer over it to stop them coming back.
Did we do the same for Merrick as well?
You gave him his last rites, yeah.
I would have.
So, and we can take you there later, but I think, lad, you want to come here first, yeah? You want to speak to the alderman and Amelia, and to tell the truth, I don't really want to be the one looking after you. It's like, because I just don't have this is beyond me. I know goats, yeah?
Yeah.
It's fine. We can look after ourselves. We'll be fine.
But
you get
but
to...
yes, go. No, that was just fluff. So go on.
Okay, you get to the city. The town. Sorry, they would call it the city, but it's
town
just
city.
It's just a piddly little town to you, and I've put up kind of a absolutely non-threatening encounter map on the stream here that shows that the city itself. Again, I keep calling it a city. Damn it! I'm used to Ostergald. That the town itself has a giant wall around it. The wall itself doesn't have a rampart. It's just a division wall, but it does have towers with which crossbowmen and longbowmen can fire from the heights. And so it seems a very well protected city. The city itself doesn't have gates as such, but you do see that there's these kind of islets on the towers so that they can put barricades up. And you have a feeling that they've got the barricades nearby that they can just kind of fortify the city in short order, but not so much gates. And you guys come into the city, and you have a
Town.
I did it again, didn't I? You come into the town, and it is what they would call bustling, what you would call probably quite sedate. The town square itself is separate to the market square, but it's the market square that you go into first. And you can see that there's dyed cloths, there's produce, live produce that's here as well. The carriage gets taken off to an outside stable, and they start to rub down the horses and things, and you have to make the rest by foot. You notice that only small produce carts can actually get into the city. The city has quite narrow streets. They're making the most of any of the... I've done it again. The town... Look, that's what I get for running a city game. Everything is a damn city. The town itself is being used for every inch of space. As a result, it's slightly chaotic with the amount of people that's in there. But because everybody's working at the moment, they're out in the fields or applying their various trades, the market square itself is quite quiet. You can see that there's a number of people that are sitting around waiting for trade, other people are just kind of wandering around, the few people that are buying at the moment. And you can see as I pan around this city, which by the way I made with elements that were from David Hemingway. Again, town. That I most of the elements that you see on here in Roll20 I got from David Hemingway, who I followed for a long time on Twitter, and I will send out a tweet a little bit later. So a lot of the elements that you see here, the fences, the floor, the dirt track that's on top of the floor, the carts, the houses, the produce. We kept joking about cabbages. I think I put a cart of cabbages up there just to... Yep, there we go, as a tip of the hat. All of this stuff here you can get from him, and you can build any town, city, village, dwelling, whatever you want from the elements that he's put together. The guy's a genius. So I'll show some love on Twitter later on for it all, and there's quite a few more of his packs that I want to get over time. Anyway, so this is the town as it currently stands. A little disorganised, but it seems to have a flourishing trade. Local produce seems to be cheap here, so people can get the necessities of life. So food, drink, clothes, firewood, building materials, things like that. But trying to get the more luxury items is going to be more difficult. He takes you in, and the second that you get in through the gates, you get a tip of the hat from the guards. So the guards at the gate, they're a bit too high up to start a conversation with you, but you can see them touching their helmets as you walk in. Clearly you're recognised, and the townsfolk immediately start to call out to you and say, back again then, I see you. We'll see you in the plough later. And these seem very warm, very hardy folk. And what I should imagine is particularly good for Aiden is these guys aren't duplicitous, greedy. They're just hard-working, simple folk. Compared to the city that you come from, this is a breath of fresh air, Aiden. You suddenly feel very at home here.
Alright.
So I know which direction this graveyard's in, right? And I've got a good understanding of where I need to go.
Yeah, as far as you're concerned, it's around about a 20-minute walk out of the town into the countryside. People don't normally go there on their own because of wild animals. Wild animals you're probably not that worried about. You are told by Bradford that one of the things you did have a problem with, and it's something they're looking into at the moment, is that you didn't like the state of disrepair that the graveyard was in. They don't keep... they don't maintain the graveyard to your liking. As far as they're concerned, the dead is out there to be forgotten and to just do its thing with nature, which that part you get, but people who are visiting there, they'll find that the gravestones are a kind of haphazard. There's a lot of them that's fallen over. You don't think that there's anyone who's assigned to go out there and stand the stones back up and clear the moss off them and the usual kind of things that you'll find near a Raven Queen temple. And sure enough, there are only 2 small temples here, and there's one to Pelor, one to Melora.
Huh.
So Pelor, the god of light. And
I'm
god
gonna
of hope
go,
and redemption,
Hopefully
and
we
the
don't
goddess of
run
nature.
into any paladins.
I'm going to start walking towards the graveyard.
Farewell, stop. We need to talk to this person first. They probably have way more information.
Then you tell me.
Eclipse.
You tell me when you're done.
Eclipse
And
speaks.
he's.
Eclipse speaks true, lad. You want to go and speak to Alderman at the very least, yeah, at the very least.
It will be very quick, Farewell, and it's very good if you come with us as well. I know you're in a hurry. I know you're in a hurry to get to the graveyard, but we need to do this as well. This person has more information than a corpse.
I tell them what, Farewell. You speak to the Alderman, and I'll score your horse to get there. Yeah.
I need the walk. It's not. I'm not particularly minded to talk to the dead. This is not how I imagine to go, and I just need the quiet. I'll be okay. Just let me do this, guys.
Well,
Trust me.
Arthur insists. Right. Before I go any further, let's bring up the vote screen. So Eclipse has a finesse point. So let's add that on.
So if you guys call up roofs, I can see you.
Hey, that finesse point, that thing's saved my boy from faceplant in the dirt like it's like a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You get taken to a large.
Can I just give Farewell a look to find out if he's expecting Cora to come or not to come?
Well, we're pretty much
sure I would
dragging him,
know
like,
by a look.
I'm really trying to convince Farrell to come with us for the information, because he wants this information.
He's not coming, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
So I am just trying to find out. Cora is just giving him a look to try and sort of see, is this alone time or alone time? Like, do you need company or no company at all?
Well, we're not gonna split the party. We're not splitting the party.
Stop! Meta gaming! Jesus!
Corinne, have some fucking faith.
Stop metagaming.
I know it's not metagaming, but have some faith.
Right.
If we die, we die.
Farewell is walking away. Do not fear the encounter map. So Farewell is walking away.
He will simply look to Cora and go with him if you want. Come with me if you want.
Oh, great.
I'm trying to make some sense.
Okay, well, remember we have these, and remember we lost our memory around here, potentially, so...
It's really better
we'll
if we
be
all
along
together.
real soon, okay?
It's real. Don't go anywhere. It's really good if we're all together, because we don't know what happened here, as Cora said.
I'm so tempted to have the session where Farewell comes back and they go, Farewell, you're back. He goes, who?
Oh boy!
Who are you?
Who am I?
Who am I?
I'm going over to Bradford and saying, where is the mayor? Where will we find him? Let's go talk to him straight away, because we're going to have to get to that
bloody great house over there. Come on. And so he takes you to what they consider to be a large house. You're from the city. This is a tiny house. But it's bigger than the houses around it, so you kind of go, yeah, okay, fine. And
I guess.
Stepping out of the house is a halfling. And he kind of he's wearing a kind of, it's kind of a mink collar to his outfit, but it's still kind of worn, coloured clothing that he has. So it looks like he's got some sort of clerk's position or official position, but he has got this mink, or it might be vermain, which is basically just colourful rats, that he's wearing. So he's clearly got some sort of position. And he walks up and says, "May I help you at all?" And Bradford goes, you wouldn't have met Henry, because he arrived while I was away. So this is Mayor Alderman's nephew." And Henry goes, "Yes, after poor Merrick passed, I'm filling in for," and he goes to say a name. He goes to say a name, and then says Mayor Alderman's arcane advisor. Crops healing, goings on of occult nature within the vicinity, that kind of thing. Can I help you at all? The mayor's rather busy.
Is he
Sorry,
telling
did
the
he
truth?
seem like he didn't know us?
Well, no, he wouldn't. He wouldn't know you because, as Bradford said, he turned up after you left.
Okay.
Insight. Like, is what he's saying true?
Yeah, do an insight check.
It's suspicious.
Oh boy.
16.
Sure. He seems to be scrutinizing you. He seems to be weighing you up.
Is he telling the truth of what he was saying?
I've told you what you've got.
Okay.
It is important that we talk to the mayor. We know he's busy, but this is important.
I suppose I can find out what your business is and then pass it on to him. My uncle is quite a busy man, quite an important man in the area, you understand.
He knows
Bradford,
us.
am I to believe that these people are somehow carry some weight in this town? Henry, do you remember the heroes that took out the assassins, or that killed poor Merrick? Well, these are them, yeah? And Henry goes, curious. What manner of folk would you say you are? And he says it straight to Farewell.
I'm not there.
Oh, sorry.
Farewell's not
Shit.
there.
No, Farewell isn't there, so he doesn't say it to Farewell.
Okay.
Let me retcon something. Let me retcon something. Then this has actually helped.
Panic.
As he's scrutinizing you, he's looking for Farewell, and instead, when he realizes that he's looking around for presumably Farewell, because Farewell's not there. He's looking around for another member of the party, and when he can't find him, he then says it instead to Cora and says, "What manner of folk are you?" And he says it straight to Cora.
What do you mean? We are.
You almost called him a cunt.
I did not. We are here to find the truth and to learn what actually happened. We have recently had issues with our memories around the time that Merrick died. And we would like to find out what happened, refresh those memories, and then pursue whoever killed him. Is that enough?
Memories, you claim to have lost them through some form of misadventure?
Can I cast...
Probably more spellcaster.
Simon,
Yeah?
can I cast Detect Thoughts to see what his surface thoughts are?
Yeah, go Corinne! Yeah,
Let me just check something here.
He does not notice it unless I probe deeper. He does no save, and unless I probe deeper, and he will not notice it.
Let me just check this guy, because this guy has stuff. Yep, okay, cool. Yeah, sure. His surface thoughts are of confusion. He's trying to determine who the hell you are. And he's trying to assess whether or not you are a threat. If you would like to go deeper, then you can use the other part of Detect Thoughts.
No, I'm not going to do that in a moment.
Please mark down that you've used the spell slot, but that's his surface thoughts.
I'll essentially heal whatever. So he does not recognize recognizes at all.
He's trying to find out who you are.
Right.
So some sort of misadventure. You said spellcaster. Sorry, your name was.
Well, I'm assuming that 3 weeks of memory loss is not due to hitting one's head, shall we say?
Simultaneously. Does that trigger any thought when Cora says that? What thoughts? What does she think when she says that?
He shows genuine concern for you when you say that you lost 3 weeks of your memory. Because, heavens, 3 weeks! As I said, I'm an arcane advisor to Mayor Alderman, and I know that that's no small spell that can do that. Do you have any evidence of where you may have gone, or what you may have faced to have faced this terrible arcane threat? This is my job, after all, to assess the arcane threat.
No, that's why we're here.
We would like to speak to the mayor.
I think that you warrant his attentions, then. You've convinced me. I believe that the cause that you have is necessary.
Have we generally convinced him?
Yes, you've still got to take thoughts up. Yeah.
Yes.
He definitely wants to know, and he is in 100% agreement that you should be speaking to the mayor. You do notice that he scratches his chin, and Eclipse, you can see that his surface thoughts are, I am casting the message spell to the 2 burly guards that are over on the other side of the market square. The 2 burly guards start walking towards you from behind as you kind of take a quick look round. And he says, "Come, let's go speak to the mayor." He takes you into what is, a reasonable sized house. The foyer that's in the middle is kind of like a combination mud room, waiting room. You have a feeling that this is also where Mayor Alderman does his business. And he says, "Please, take a seat here, and I shall brief the mayor and get him to conclude his current business. And then we shall see what we shall see." And you sit down in this lovely waiting room. And he goes inside, starts talking. And
I do not trust that guy at all.
I don't like him.
So he doesn't know who we are.
He wants to know who you are. He wants to know who you are.
Yeah, he doesn't know who we are, but he wants to know who we are. He's truth in his intention of speaking, of letting us know to the mayor, but he didn't seem to have it wasn't genuine worry, it was more like fascination, wasn't it?
He seems like a bit of an asshole to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with anything that you've said. Choose my words carefully here.
And what did he say to the guards? Because I would have been able to hear, because you think what you're going to say when you say it. What was his message to the guards?
His message was, follow behind, and once we're inside the house, post yourself either side of the door. If I call you, come in with your blades drawn.
Right.
Doesn't trust us, obviously.
Yeah, he doesn't really trust us. He's got the guards posted outside and are gonna come in and attack us on command.
I wonder why that is, though, because we just had Bradford. Is Bradford still here?
Yeah, Bradford's there. He's kind of sat there twiddling his thumbs. And funnily enough, the door opens. Henry pokes his head round the door and says, Bradford, a moment of your time, please. And he goes, you guys stay there. I'm sure it's not going to be long. And he stands up and walks into the office as well.
Is Henry the arcane guy?
Yeah. Henry Alderman is what he said, so he's clearly the same family, Alderman being the surname. And as Bradford is walking in, a very pissed off hill dwarf is walking out and goes, any damn excuse. And he storms out of the building, glaring at you all as he leaves, as if to say, you guys interrupted my meeting.
While we're waiting, I'm going to send a message to Farewell, just saying, you alright?
Me, yeah.
Not really, but I will be once I get there.
The countryside is quite nice, Farewell. Apparently you guys did a really good job of clearing anything out of it that's ugly or anywhere on the chaotic
I told
part of the
Simon.
spectrum.
I specifically asked Farrell to please stay where he was and not wander off anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do what you say.
Yeah. You told him something he did not.
He's not going to stand there like a knob, because some 5'4" cat.
He walked away.
You do not control him.
Yeah, he's walking down a country lane. The birds are singing, the sun is shining, the air is
never
nice.
gonna trust you to be with yourself, but again, she's gonna make sure that you go with her everywhere if she's told you.
So yeah, Farrell's walking down a country lane. It's a beautiful,
parrot.
brisk breeze. The September breeze is coming in now, wiping out the memories of August. And it's got to that point where it's lovely and bright and very slightly warm, but a lovely cool breeze and no insects. It's a good time to be going walking. For you, Farrell.
For a guy with like a billion wisdom, you're very, very stupid right now.
God.
He has character
In your
reasons.
opinion.
Yep. So
I have character reasons. In this instance, he doesn't smile often, but he's definitely smiling right now.
you're surrounded by life. It's a good time, Farewell. Yes, you're walking to a graveyard, but it's a good time until you get there. So
Even when I get there.
yeah. So you are waiting. Everybody else, and Bradford comes out and is kind of scratching his head as if he's a little bit confused. He goes, they want you in there. I'll be over in the plough if you want me, yeah? He kind of goes outside, unties Bess from the horse's tether, and takes her off to the plough, which you pass on the way there. It's got a miniaturized plough that's being broken in half. That's above the sign, and you're like, yeah, sure, we'll meet him there if we need him. And Henry goes, step inside.
Right.
Okay.
The office that you walk into is quite clearly a home office that's been used to the nth degree. On every surface there are small binders, which is just basically brown card that's been folded over with some sort of sisal, that's a type of string, tying it together with what I'm sure is a large amount of applications for grain and tax relief and a bunch of other things, all the things that you'd normally expect around a farmer. And sat in the middle of the office at quite a large desk, a huge desk, on a strange kind of mechanized chair, is another halfling. And you can see that the mechanized chair, because this desk is kind of semicircular, he can crank the desk up to crank the chair up to different parts of the desk, and then by holding onto the desk and pushing it over, he can get to different parts of the desk. Because as a halfling, this desk is way too big for him. So this weird mechanism has been put in place so that he can efficiently work the entire desk. And he looks over the top of the desk and goes, "You come to speak to us? Surely we're friends already. Why would we need to speak to you? And I'm told your memories are missing. Where's Phil?"
Yes.
Yes.
Probably on his way to the graveyard.
Well, I'd quite happily speak to him and tell him that we've actually appointed a graveyard.
He should be standing right outside, but he should be. I told him to stay there, but
he looks at Eclipse
he's gone.
He looks at Eclipse with a knowing look.
He's gonna get a fucking leash.
He gives Eclipse a knowing look, and immediately, those of you who are here, I'm not even going to give you insight checks. The rest of you suddenly go, "Oh God, he does know us," because the look he gives to Eclipse normally takes weeks to cultivate.
Yeah.
It is the, "Oh, this is Eclipse." And he kind of... actually, I will ask for insight checks now.
Oof. Oof. No. Now I'm scared.
18.
Okay.
That's fucking one.
17?
Dude, rip.
How much, Felicia?
17.
17, sure. Okay. Eclipse...
19.
19, okay. So Eclipse and... Glory and Cora get it. Eclipse doesn't get it because she's the target. And she's completely oblivious to this.
I got insight.
So Cora and Glory notice with some relief that this guy genuinely knows Eclipse, because he's giving Eclipse the Eclipse look of, "Oh yes, she clearly was on at farewell, no wonder he walked off," kind of look. Which means that you feel like you can trust the mayor, at least, that he knows you. However, with your scores, I will give you one more thing, is that the mayor suddenly looks at you with a certain amount of relief. Relief at Eclipse's comment, which is a very peculiar thing. I'll let you draw your own conclusions from it, but what she just said about farewell actually relieved him.
We are who we say we are.
Now I'm going to get Cora and Glory, because you passed. I'm going to get you to do perception checks on top of that, but the DC is going to be a little bit harder.
Higher than a 19.
Perception, you said.
Uh-huh.
Thank God I rolled well. That's a 19.
Okay. And Cora?
10.
Okay. No, you don't get any extra than that, but you already got some, so what you didn't get was the kind of cherry on top. And so, yeah, so the mayor suddenly looks kind of relieved and goes, of course. Of course. Oh, damn it. Eclipse, your detect thoughts is still running, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So, of the
How
guy.
long does it run for?
1 minute, so I don't know how has it been a minute.
Sorry, yeah, that's petered off. So no, you don't get the information. So he says,
I passed again and be like, brain now.
"This is Mayor Alderman speaking. His name's Albert." Which you can see because it's on the nameplate on his desk. No one has told you this. To everyone, he's Mayor Alderman.
Right.
So, you understand that this is somewhat of a tall tale that you come with us. However, you're friends of ours, and of course we'll support you. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you know,
Thank you.
I was about to say, you know me, I'm a practical man, but you don't really know me, do you?
No,
so
that's kind of the problem.
Aye, it is. So, I'm going to say straight. I'm a practical man. A man of some position here. Largely because I don't lose my head. And when I've got two people who are like, 6 times my size arguing over something, I give the common sense to what is a very rare commodity around here. So I'm going to use the common sense here. And what I'd say is that I got something that you need. And what I need, I'll put on the table right now, is peace of mind. You seem like you are who you are. But I just want peace of mind to know that you are who you are. We had assassins, right? Yeah? We had assassins come into my town. Yeah?
Yes.
And they were assassins that looked like everybody else when they walked in. Yeah? They look like pickers or labourers that just came through the door. Yeah? And suddenly they got all these cloaks on, like they're some sort of mummers show, and they're pulling out these blades from God knows where, and they're killing a personal friend of mine. Yeah? Yeah? So, if they can do that,
didn't we fight them?
They can look like some of our most trusted friends coming in and claiming not to know anything that would be able to confirm who they are, like. Yeah?
Right.
Yeah? You see where I'm coming from, yeah?
Yes, we are not assassins, we promise.
Okay, well, I'm just going to be asking you some questions.
To prove it.
Yes, I'm going to be asking you some questions. That's all.
Sure.
Harmless questions.
Well, we have no memory, so good luck.
Well, I've been told that you've not got 3 weeks of memories, which means I can't ask you questions about what you were like when you're here. However, we got to know you. Which means I can ask you questions about stuff that happened before you came here the first time, right? Because when we got to know you, we asked you certain questions. As long as I ask you those questions, the answers should be the same. Shouldn't they?
Yes.
See?
Indeed.
Yeah, there's a reason why I got the big impractical desk here. Yeah? I got the brains.
Go for it. Go for it.
Right. First of all, which two of you were friends before you came here? Sorry.
Oh, I know Tito.
Sorry.
I know Tito.
Which two of you were friends before you came together? Sorry, I missed that.
I literally point at Cora, and then I point. If there's a window, I point to the window to signify, like, farewell, who is in here right now.
Okay. Easy one to start.
Cora and farewell.
Okay. Cora and farewell it is. Who was it that some of yous was claimed as a love interest of one of yous, but actually it's bullshit and they'd say it themselves?
What?
Wait.
Are you talking about these two?
Who are you pointing to?
I am pointing to Eclipse and to Aiden. Because there is something going on, but not going on. It's very annoying and confusing.
I think you're probably confusing love with I don't know what, lass, but no. There's some that would say that one of yous has got a love interest. However, you ask that person, they'll say it's straight bullshit. Who is it? And who is the love interest?
I know, sir. I know.
Again,
you fucked up.
I did Olivia.
Yeah.
Alright, it's true.
Jesus Christ, how drunk did they guess that we were telling them?
Yeah. I swear to
Farewell and Glory would share their visions at a certain degree of drunkenness.
I expect Eclipse got drunk and was moaning that she liked Aiden, but Aiden likes Olivia, and I can't get an edge in because Olivia.
To her, she's so cool. Romance, they never work.
And I have fur, and nobody likes fur.
And it's just so hard, and no one understands me. And it doesn't help, because Cora and Phil are friends.
I can't tell if Aiden or Rodrigo is trying to say something.
Both. I swear to God, if this comes up again, I'm gonna shoot myself.
Shoot or shit?
Shoot.
But you have to admit that there is something. She did show you her chat.
Glory.
Anyway, moving on to the next
Shut
thing
the
before you
fuck
have
up.
a fight in your office. Go.
Yes, go.
Who made Aiden's gun?
Bloodwind.
Don't know.
How
Who
the
made your gun, Aiden?
Bloodwind,
how the DM checks whether or not any of the players have been paying a fucking attention to this.
You're damn fucking right. You're damn fucking right. I poured myself into the story. This is a test to see if you remember.
Fucking trivia.
I think it's been said in game, so I don't think Cora knows.
Yes, it has.
It has been.
Okay, so Kate hasn't been paying attention.
He has Aiden here. He's that one's kind of pointedly trying to identify Aiden. Because, okay, in one of your anecdotes you mention the chambermaid of your tavern. What's her name?
Does someone just shoot this man? I mean, any fucking questions,
Excuse me, Simon, what was the
Clean up
question again?
when the Farewell's bed was destroyed. Oh.
What's her name, Simon?
So the question.
No, I'm looking.
Aiden was the one who, and no, I'm not giving you the fucking details. This is an exam. Sorry, Rodrigo asked the question. What was the question? So I'll repeat the question. He said,
Please.
in one of your stories, you mentioned the chambermaid of the tavern in which you live. What is the name of the chambermaid?
I cannot believe
And yes, Rattles, this is absolutely a pop quiz. I love torturing my players.
My memory's garbage.
I thought I'd actually written it down, but I cannot find it.
See? Going to the fucking graveyard is such a stupid idea.
Go through.
Guess who's not being fucking quizzed?
Do you have the name of it, Nick? Do you have the name of her?
There.
No, but you can tell us the fucking name!
Yes, Colin, I have the name. I actually have all the NPCs written down, but I'm not giving it.
Tell us the name? Because we know, our characters know,
I can never remember her damn name, so I don't know.
Well, if you want to talk about meta,
I call her nice
this
lady.
is a meta quiz for the players that I've sewn into the game. So,
you are allowed to help us.
Garbage, so I don't remember.
You're allowed to help us.
He goes.
It's not
I'm not there.
Okay.
Meta knowledge.
Let's give you another question then. Yeah. Let's give you another question.
As I said, this is meta knowledge. You're allowed to say the names of the NPCs because our characters now, just the players not fucking remember.
Anya's first mission, you met up with quite a sizable lass, and you was fast friends because you avenged the death of some of her crew. Who was that then?
Heinrich.
Heckarus.
Aye, Heckarus it was. Aye.
How do you know all of this?
We got very, very drunk. There is only one explanation. The only way he will know this kind of infinite level is that you get to that point where you're so drunk.
You're telling all of your stories. Yeah, you've got so
everyone is
heavily
your best
pissed
friend
that you are. Yeah.
Either we all got drunk, or people just asked Eclipse the right questions.
The fact that we gave all this.
Some of you guys have really wrong idea about Eclipse that she will just say anything. That's really not. It's really not the case.
We're getting this all from your roleplay. I don't know where else we're getting.
It's really not the case. It's just been the situations we've been in, but it's because she's been with people she trusts. You guys.
Yeah.
You realise that the only reason he's not asked about Juratown is because, of course, he's already had that answered several times already.
It's let's just say there's clearly some knowledge that he knows about your character traits, and yeah, you know, your characters have got compulsions, and he's playing off those compulsions as well. And I love the fact that you've got them.
Question for you, Mr. Mayor.
How
do you know all of this stuff about us? Because if we're being this loose-lipped, no wonder we've lost our fucking memories.
Oh god, I love you lot. Oh, this is so much fun.
I'll put it this way. In the day, I spend my time behind the desk. In the night, I believe in connecting with my community. So I'm behind the bar. Every night, for 1 hour before I clocks off, I go to the plough and I spend my time behind the bar. Giving out the drinks, going and speaking to people, connecting with the community. I normally spend more than an hour on the other side of the bar. And so, yeah, I get to know everybody that comes here. Every trader, every lone stranger. Sometimes they tell me to go fuck myself, especially that's unwise when they find out who I am. But, yeah, I get to know everybody. Thankfully, after I started employing you, and after you started gaining quite a bit of coin from my office, you started opening up to me. And as a result, you are welcome here. You are protected here. You will find, although not did you remember it, that your board and lodgings here are free, and will every time you come here.
Are we going to have an interrogation every time we come here, though?
Not every time. Only when you're coming and claiming that you don't understand and you don't remember us. I'm trying to see who you are before I start extending the extensive amount of help that I'm willing to give.
Well, I have a question. Sorry, go.
Shall we keep asking his question that he has so he knows us? Because I don't know, he hasn't really
I'm willing to let Laura ask me a question. It might even prove a little bit more that I can trust you.
Well, I'm thinking you just claimed that you know everyone who comes and goes from this town, and you said that these assassins were dressed like normal people. Are these people from your town that you already knew? Or strangers who came to town, or what?
It's a bloody good question, that. Yeah.
Indeed.
Then they didn't go in the tavern. They're just walking about the streets, so they look like everyone else. Now, we do get seasonal workers coming in here, and they came in at the right time as well, because we had quite a lot of seasonal workers in at the time. So they come in, and they're wandering on the streets. Some of them are carrying, like, hay bales and barrels. We don't pay no mind, yeah? Bit hard for the regular folk to know everybody who's in here. Even takes me a bit of time to get to know them. So even if I'd seen them as I was walking past, I'd be like, I'll get round to them. They weren't here
it all one
more than a
day?
night. They came and they attacked.
And there were 6 of them, and we killed them.
There were. Last question, I think, is probably fair to say. Now,
it's 10 to 7.
Yeah, I know. That's why it was the last question, because I'm feeding into the next bit.
Okay.
Anybody else had time to freeze on them?
No. I'm not freezing. I'm pausing. I'm deciding which of these questions I have written here I want to give you based on your roleplay today. Because one of them is hard, one of them tells you something, and one of them is kind of neutral.
I think for all the hard work that Corinne's put in, that she should get the one that gives us some information. She's worked her ass off tonight.
Yeah, she's gone through the hazing, hasn't she?
She has, and she deserves one where she gets some fucking answers, because none of us bastards are giving her any answers all fucking night. And she's good with that, and so she deserves some answers at last.
Yep. He pulls out a wand and says, for privacy. He flicks it towards the wall, and there's a familiar ripple that just a wave and a ripple that goes around the room as you realise that he has made it so that no one can listen through the wall. He pulls out a pouch from his bag, sets it on the table, and goes, "This pouch carries something inane inside it. But if there was something in there right now that you'd want me to elucidate on, what would it be? What object would you want in that pouch that I had all the answers for?"
Is he asking me?
Anyone in the room can answer, so
He's
anyone
asking
bar farewell.
Wait, pause. I'm looking at you though.
Same.
Trying to give you eyes and that
You
thing.
can confer if you want. I understand you got some secrets.
If you're asking just in general what object I would find the most information on, that's the hard to Jordan, but
I'd expect that answer from you. How about the rest of you? Go on.
Well, at the current time, I'd very much like to get my hands on one of those little brooches that we saw the soldiers wearing, because that was enchanted and I'm curious.
Both Henry and Albert, because they both have the surname Alberman, look at each other and they, with a confused look, as if to say, "What the fuck's she talking about?" But
I glare at
He
Glory.
said any object.
yeah, that's fine.
I fucking glare at Glory.
He's accustomed to that.
I elbow Item. Just stop.
Don't care. Because whatever case anyone has to say to Aiden about Glory, it's not fucking working.
Cora,
I'm elbowing him to stop
an
glowing.
answer has been given by Glory and Eclipse. Aiden has given a reaction. He looks to you, just in case you have a different answer.
Well, I had an idea in my head, but now I'm changing it, because what I would like is the key to the front door of the person who took our damn memories.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Ouch.
He looks at you dead in the eye and says, in getting to know you, Cora, I've come to know that you're a good person. But you also harbour quite the anger. Something that some people don't see. But it's my job to see it. You're not a danger to us simple folk. But those who done you wrong, they're in trouble if they get between you. I'm going Scottish, I just realised. I'm trying not to. This is supposed to be if you haven't guessed, this is supposed to be a mixture of Scouse and Yorkshire, because I didn't want to do either accent.
Don't know what that means, but sure.
So if people are I'm not butchering either accent, I'm just refusing to land on either one, because I don't want to say, oh yes, this is Yorkshire.
It's just British, but it's a different brand of British.
I'm bouncing around a few of my friends' home counties, so yeah.
That's fair.
So
He's speaking British.
I'm speaking British. This is very much true. Which is why the only people who kind of will know, hang on, he's butchering a language, is Brits. So I'm fairly safe. He looks at Henry. Henry looks at him, being that I'm at 5'2", and that's exactly where I wanted to make the decision whether this would happen or not. Henry sighs, gives Albert the nod. Albert sits back in his chair. Henry steps forward, and Albert just rests his hands on his stout little tummy as Henry looks to the floor, looks up, and his image starts to melt. First of all, it melts from the halfling you know to a different halfling. A halfling that is dressed in what you recognise as robes that are of the Ostergald University. Then the robes stay the same, but the face starts to melt from the second halfling into that of a goblin. a goblin wearing a bowler hat, a neat little waistcoat and shirt. He's wearing neat little trousers and brightly polished, very finely polished shoes. But on the top of that, he's got what seems to be professor's robes. So they don't they're not right at the front. They're open at the front, which is where you can see everything else. And his wand that he was holding at that point suddenly lengthens and turns into an umbrella. This goblin, by the way, does not have green skin. He's got flesh-coloured skin. So for Harry Potter fans out there, he looks like he might be related to Grip.
I'm sorry, but I can only think about the umbrella from the Adventure Zone, and I am scared.
Oh god, yes.
I don't know the umbrella, but you can explain to me later.
fucking umbrella.
I've got to
Umbrella
press
one.
on, and he says, "My friends, it is very good to see you again. I'm Merrick Briarstone, and news of my death has been greatly exaggerated."
I thought Merrick was a halfling. I'm so confused.
Yep.
He wasn't.
As far as your original brief was concerned, you were following a halfling wizard called Merrick Briarstone, and now that he stands in front of you, he melted from one halfling into another halfling into a goblin. So the halfling he was in between was the halfling you were following, but it turns out that even that was a disguise.
Huh.
We have a lot of questions.
You got any more of that drink?
No.
God.
I don't.
Okay.
You drink less.
Aiden.
No.
We're going to finish up. We have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to finish up.
Simon, yeah, I was going to say, if he had recognised us with my detect thoughts, I would have picked up that he recognised it because that's a surface thought. But yes.
I did not say that he recognised you. I did not say that he didn't recognise you. I said very clearly that he was trying to determine who you were. A man that keeps using disguise self as her habitual way of life. I didn't say he recognised you or didn't recognise you. I said he was trying to find out who you were. He suspected that you were the assassins coming to kill him again.
Yes, but the thing is, I would, in my detect thoughts, as in, does he recognise us? Like, and that would have been yes.
And I told you he was trying to determine who you were. He did not. He recognised the visuals, but he did not believe.
That's what I was. That's what I was asking.
But you wanted the surface thoughts. You didn't dig deeper. The surface thoughts were, I recognise the image, but I do not believe they are who they say they are because I find this memory loss too fucking convenient. So he did not believe in his surface thoughts that you were who you said you were, and it's only now that you've convinced him with your various shenanigans, Aiden's reaction to you, your reaction to Farewell, all the various bits and pieces that make you so uniquely and wonderfully you, is what he did. Now we've just had an debate over this over a minute, which means gives me 1 minute to get Aiden out of this story because he's gone for the next 3 weeks. So, Aiden.
Yes.
You suddenly get in your ears the message spell.
Oh dear.
The message spell says, I'm outside. We need to go somewhere where you can talk. We also need to go somewhere where we can sort out my problem. You recognize
This
the
is Olivia?
name? No. This is
Okay.
This is a voice you know, but it's not Olivia. This is the voice of Hector Kennel.
Oh shit! We've been getting some plot.
And
My boy is not happy.
You it's like if anyone's looking at Aiden, you can see his heart just sinks. It's the fucking Titanic.
Cora gets that, but she thinks it's just because he's out of drink.
Yeah.
So none of you guys have heard this. This is strictly between Aiden and an NPC that's not going to be an NPC. So this. Just to wrap up very, very quickly.
Yes.
Rodrigo has got to go off for a training course for the next 3 weeks. He
I
is
gotta
be available for the next 3 Thursdays, which means he's going to be stepping out. We'll do a cutscene where Aiden just walks away. You guys think that he's just having a moody, but he carries on walking. He gets on. He just walks. He's walked away before. He's rage walked away. I mean, you're in a town. There's no threat. He was probably going off to get some alcohol. He goes out. He has a scene, and you guys don't know, but he actually gets on a horse and travels the fuck out of town. Okay.
God.
Now.
It's just so out of character because Clips would
Eclipse probably would want to stop him, but she doesn't get the chance. Yeah? She doesn't get the
She'd
chance.
put a leash on us all if she had the chance.
Yeah, I have a feeling she would, but she wouldn't be able to be pulled into that direction. And also, Corinne, you know I'm doing this because Rodrigo is literally not going to be here. So
yes, I know. I'm just like, Eclipse, yes.
So, enough about Eclipse. Let's focus on Aiden, because I'm 2 minutes over now. Aiden, you step outside, and you see straight away, and you can feel it because 2 blood hunters, proximity to each other, you can feel the magic. It is indeed the lone wolf himself, Hector Cannell, who is going to be cameoed. Okay? So at some point, probably on a weekend, in the next 3 weeks, there will be a one-shot starring just you, Rodrigo, and the cameo person. Now, he already knows who he is, because I've already offered it to him. I'm not going to say who it is now, because I still need to brief him on the fact that he now is canon Hector Cannell.
Right.
So, that is it. I'm hoping that you enjoyed this session. I know there was no combat, but man, was there a few
we just didn't see it. Farewell was murdered. We just didn't see it.
I mean, those bugbears came out of nowhere. I mean, they ripped his arm off and everything.
I'm re-rolling Hector's stats as we speak. I'm joking.
So yeah, I'm taking this opportunity. There's always a way of finding opportunity in some of these things. So yes, Rodrigo has to be away for 3 weeks, real life and all that. Hey, no, don't apologise. Real life always happens. You know, I'm tired today because I spent a wonderful day with my daughter. But no apologies because it's real life. So that's what's going to happen. At some point in the next 3 weeks, we're going to have a spotlight on Aiden, a cameo from a friend, and we will get that first cameo sorted out, and we'll find out a little bit more about the Cannelms, which I'll say to the viewers now. Some of you already know because you're on the Discord, but the Cannelms are the Van Helsings of this world. When Rodrigo wrote his bio for Aiden, I was like, These guys are amazing. These guys are the Van Helsings. They go around just killing all of the undead. They're a family that's just completely devoted to the hunt. And I was like, yeah, I am going to put some canon around this shit.
Yes, I stylized them around the Belmonts from Castlevania. So if anyone has seen the show or played the games, they're basically the Belmonts.
It's on my list because just from your description alone, and the fact that you say that the Belmonts are like the Cannelms, which will be that's the way round it is for me. I want to see that show now. So yeah,
it's really good.
So thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to go off to bed because I've got a really early start tomorrow morning. However, it's not going to be for work. Yay! Everybody, thank you very much. We love you hugely for sticking around, and we will see you next Thursday. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.